Welcome back to the Denizens. It is Tuesday night once again, which means it is time for a leverage heist. It's our 5th heist, and this time the crew is headed down to Miami. So let's get some surf, some sun, and see what trouble brews in paradise.
I mean, we're no longer that's if it's a full meal for $5, no one can complain.
As we're just talking about tacos and shit right now.
Hello.
Exactly.
Okay, I gotta juggle you guys because, like, every time I get one of you right, the other two pop in.
Well, of course. That's why I don't. That's why I usually don't do anything with that until it's like, nope. Once everybody's here, then I'll get it all set up.
Yeah. I mean, luckily I had everybody propped already, so all I had to do was just juggle where you guys are in the order. So how are we all doing tonight? How's our week been?
It's been all right.
So far, so good.
Oh my god, we all look good tonight. We're not all, like, bunched up and pixely.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
We can?
Yep.
Just a heads up, in about 30 minutes I have to grab food from the kitchen, because 1 hour after gym time.
Cool.
It won't take me long, though.
Ugh. So we've all been having a week? Good week? Bad week?
Mostly good.
I know it's only Tuesday, but hey.
Productive week.
I wouldn't say I've been having a productive week.
I am cat sitting, so I have tried to set up the situation such that the cat will not walk on the keyboard tonight, but we'll see.
That just makes things more interesting.
Well, it sure did on Saturday. I was with the other podcast group, and Cat dashed across the keyboard, simultaneously set me into airplane mode, and turned off my microphone feed. So,
which was fine because, you know, we had Nightkind struggling for what, a half hour before we got all of that done.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, if I recall, Julie, you experienced you experienced about 50% of the origin story of Freakazoid right there.
Yep. All she needed was that specific set of keystrokes, hit enter, and get sucked into cyberspace.
There you go.
Which also happened to Ricardo Montalban.
all right, I'm putting links in chat to the Google Docs sheet and the Roll Dice with Friends room.
So, our 5th heist, but for anybody who hasn't been here for the previous 4 and is just joining us, who would like to start off our recap and character introductions?
Silence.
The enthusiasm on their faces is amazing.
Hey, I'll let somebody else go first.
I'm sorry. I don't have a cam, so you can't see, but my mouth was full. I was eating. I had a mouthful of nuts. Let's see here. Let's see. The last one we did, we went to. What was that one? Trying to remember our last adventure. Which
Our last adventure was the All's Fair in Love and War job, in which the Silver Cab Company was being pushed out of their business by a rival company that was being run by a crime ring.
Yes, and I believe I believe my part in that was to help facilitate the ruining of a marriage and taking away the political protections that our adversary had.
Yes. And of course, as per the course, his humiliation was that not only did we take him to the authorities, but we did so in a Silver Star cab. All right, so you know what? I'll start this time. So the supposed mastermind of this operation is Delaney Belgair. He is a real estate mogul. He was always good at pretty much anything he tried, but particularly crimes that involved deception and pickpocketing. And it got so easy, it got boring. So after several stints in prison, he just decided, you know what? I'm tired of doing this and not getting anything out of it, so I'm going to go and I'm going to switch my skills from doing it for bad and just work the good. He has 3 distinctive features, which are that he is fun-loving, he is confident, and he has a resting bitch face that can basically drive home any point so long as he makes sure that he is authoritative. His signature asset is a multi-band police scanner, which we haven't quite gotten into yet, but I'm sure it'll come into play at some point.
You used it in the last session.
Yeah, but we haven't really... It hasn't been a focal point, is what I mean. And so, because he decided he wants to be a sort of modern-day Robin Hood, but knows he can't do it alone, he went ahead and gathered himself a crew consisting of 3 other people, and that is where I will let whoever wants to go next pick up.
Okay. Well, my character is Carlos Rojas. I am a thief and a grifter. My character was born in New York City, in Brooklyn to be specific. He went to school, did fairly well, and eventually got a job working as a trader in the stock market, and realized the only thing that he was doing was making rich assholes richer. So he decided to take his gifts for deception and fast talking, and the first thing he ever did was steal a bunch of money that was supposed to be in some mutual funds for a bunch of these rich dudes, and put it into a blind trust that he had no access to, and only a handful of charities could draw from. And while the FBI and the SEC have had their eye on him, they haven't been able to pin anything on him yet. But he hooked up with these guys in an effort to see if he could take his Robin Hood game just a step further. He happens to be, his key abilities is he is we've been throwing around that term modern day Robin Hood. He is the smartest guy in the room, and he's also a bit of the class clown. He'll turn even the most serious situation into a joke if he can. And his signature asset is a very forgettable face.
We should also be very clear for those of you who have... Yeah, for those of you who have joined us for at least one of the other adventures, we should make clear, when he says he hooked up with us, we do not mean in the signature Carlos style of hooking up.
Yeah.
No, I leave that for all of our cons. I do all the hooking up as part of our cons, not with my teammates.
I'm not even sure that's part of the con a lot of the time. I think it's just, just you.
No, it's trust me, it's professionalism is what it is.
I feel like you make the con part of your slut game. That's what it is.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well, there was at least one time when it was useful. You talked that yoga studio owner into testifying, as I recall.
And in the last session, I ruined the marriage that kept the guy politically protected.
All right, so that's Carlos. Who's next?
All right, I guess I'll go next. Richard Miller has a youthful appearance, fast book learning, and is very independent. He is a grifter with a secondary and hitter. Master of Disguise knows all the cons and is really, Master of Disguise plus is able to make a costume out of next to nothing. Particularly good at agility and alertness, and generally runs the cons. And sometimes, like in our last outing, forges a evidence for somebody to find.
Basically, Richard is our Clark Kent.
And
Which
finally,
I believe leads us to Martin Kale.
Martin
I just realized
is
I have fucked up and have Martin and Richard reversed.
Martin is a former farm worker and self-taught hacker who is very, very throw crap together and make a server type of guy. He is on the run from his personal nemesis in the IRS.
Who happens to be a friend of mine.
We make it work here.
We have connections that we can use against anybody, including ourselves.
True.
That's right.
I am very much the hayseed of the group with also kind of a forgettable face. Except for my nemesis. My nemesis could pick me out of a million people from a distance easily. I think that should be her signature asset.
Works for me.
Okay. Martin sense tingling.
And although he is our hacker is actually more adept with old and outdated technology than he is more recent.
No one thinks to guard against old DOS hacks, but here we are.
Give him a Commodore, he'll hack the Pentagon.
And we also should note that you guys have done jobs on the West Coast, the East Coast, and the Midwest twice. So tonight's adventure finds you in Miami.
Right. Another excuse for Carlos to wear the shortiest shorts ever.
You have arrived in Miami, however, at a rather dire time in the wake of Hurricane Pierre, which has recently hit the state and caused a massive amount of damage. And as the shot opens, you are sitting in a cafe of some kind, out on a sidewalk table, talking to your clients, who are a nice-looking retired couple, originally from Buffalo, New York. Their names are Greg and Cynthia Holland, and they are very distressed. It seems that they saved up and put all of their savings into a condo in Miami. They always wanted to retire somewhere warm after living through Buffalo winters for the entire rest of their lives. And they explain, well, we bought a condo run by this company called Sunshine Realty. And it seemed perfect. It was, in a nice location. It was within our budget. And it was a little bit of a stretch, but, we worked hard all our lives and we wanted to have a nice place to live out our retirement. All the presentations went into some detail about how the condos were fully insured. That was like a big selling point for them. So we didn't purchase extra condo insurance. And then Pierre hit. At this point, that's been Greg up to now, and at this point, Cynthia takes over. She slides a phone towards you with an image on it showing a building with extensive damage, Like one entire wall is severely like the roof is missing on that side. Chunks of the wall are gone. You can see bits of the apartments inside. And she says, so we lost a lot of our stuff. So did a bunch of others in the same complex. And it turns out that actually our personal possessions weren't in fact covered. Now, we looked into this because we felt that this had been misrepresented to us, but a lawyer went over the contract and the advertising materials, and they said that the wording is misleading, but not in a criminal way. So there's nothing we can do legally. The courts wouldn't, even though this guy has been dishonest with us, he's done it in a way that we can't sue him for. So not only have we lost a bunch of our stuff, but our contribution to the HOA has gone way up in order to pay off the repairs that did happen, or that are needed. And we don't know if we can afford this anymore. We sold our house back in Buffalo. We were going to have nowhere to live pretty soon if something doesn't happen here. So they told us that you might be able to help with situations like this. They look at you hopefully.
I'm going to be honest, I zoned out halfway through this trying to keep up.
Well, the short version is realty company sells condos, misrepresented the amount of insurance that the condos were covered by. They led the tenants to think that their personal possessions would be covered, which they weren't. And with the damage caused by the hurricane, this has wiped out quite a lot of their stuff, as well as created extra fees for repairs to the building. And the bad part is it's not illegal. The company has been misleading, but they have managed to stay on the right side of what you can actually be sued for, or successfully sued for.
Okay. I hate shitty landlords.
They're not even technically landlords per se. It's a condo, so it makes them a very, very odd. I've had bad realtors.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're real shitty realtors.
Yeah,
I hate shitty people with homes and land. How about that?
that works. It's technically everyone owns their piece of the pie here, but technically. So, but they were given a verbal guarantee, and the writing and advertising doesn't add up.
Yeah, there's some fine print in the contract we signed that does spell it all out, but you know,
Okay.
You know how that goes, legalese and all those pages, and they're just pointing at you, and you're excited, and they say sign here. Who takes the time to read it all?
All right.
Well,
so the big question is, you know how many units are in the building?
36, I think.
Okay. Let's just assume equal damage to each. Basically need to repair one whole side of the building on top of all the stuff, right?
I mean, at the very least, if it's hurricane damage, we're probably looking at flooding.
Right. Ooh. Oh, that first floor.
Yeah, flooding is often not covered by insurance at all. You have to buy separate flood insurance for that.
And
So they
take a
just
look at our
promised
target.
what? Personal property and liability insurance or what?
Sorry, what's that?
I said exactly what kind of insurance did they verbally promise to them?
Well, they were vague enough about what exactly the insurance involved. They made it sound like it was going to cover personal property, but it didn't.
Okay.
And it does cover the damage to the building, but the HOA and because of premiums, that fee has gone up ridiculous. Okay. And I look over at the wall. They're certainly taking their sweet time if they're already jacking that.
I think I've already got a little bit of an idea.
No.
What you're thinking?
Okay, so what I'm thinking is what we come up with is we come up with a just a BS contract, okay? That we come up with a way to get all of the residents to sign it, and then what we do is we trick we don't have to trick the people we're going after to sign it. We just have to get a hold of what like one of their signatures, and we can forge it. Okay, and then we come up with a contract that says, "Oh, we messed up. We're going to agree to pay for all this stuff that you guys got." And if they can't prove that it's a bogus contract, it might be able to be held up in court. Especially if you have all of the residents saying, no, this was something they came to us with, and they all had the same story.
I love how this actually makes my specialty completely useless.
We also, before we can get that, and that's a good, I like that, but we want to get those repairs up quickly or else people will not be able to live in the building and no hotel fees add up fast. So we need to suddenly, I'm guessing the company has not greenlit any repair company yet, is hoping people just get out and forfeit quite a bit. So we'll want to, I'm wanting to hack their computers and have them approve someone who's going to work very quickly, just not
We
very
don't need you to
cheaply and
hack.
good on. I have to hack the target and have them authorize a payment.
No, you don't. You have a mastermind. What's your mastermind
True.
specialty? I'm a real estate mogul. So what am I used to?
What do you have in mind specifically, though?
I mean, if we want to go the really boring route, all I have to do is arrange a meeting with the realtor and be like, hey, look, I noticed that you had some hurricane damage recently. I know that can be a pain in the ass to pay out for, and I am guessing you don't want to cover all of that. So why don't you take a meeting? I can suggest you some friends who will get you a good price, and you won't even have to worry about your insurance premiums.
Well, at this point, Greg says, to answer your question, no, they haven't done anything about starting repairs yet. I think the guy who runs the place, Hartley, he's been too busy with his dog racing stuff.
You see, you hear
have a
Martin
gambler.
audibly groan. Sorry, I'm from the countryside. When I hear dog racing, I think of some very unethical things going on in the background.
Oh,
As the dog pops up.
Not at the racetracks anymore. That's been outlawed in Florida since 2020. But this is the wife speaking up. But he does this thing with, oh, I don't know, the Kennel Club and time trials or something. That's all he can talk about. I have to admit, sometimes my eyes glaze over, though.
Still hell on the dogs. Don't blame you for glazing over. Someone bragging about how he's putting a bunch of those guys and girls through hell. Yeah, I would have a hard time empathizing with him too.
We have found the berserk button for our hacker.
You have.
I know it doesn't have anything to do with the. This doesn't have anything to do with the story or helping these people out. But what we could do is we could drug him, put him out on a high school running track, and then have one of us with a golf cart and away from the golf cart, and he has to keep running while we just chase behind him with a cattle prod.
Now I am seeing this like in TV terms. This would be where Carlos leans forward and says, "So you know what we could do?" And then cut to a shot of this golf cart driving around with this guy running after it, and
this is a montage with Rodney Dangerfield's corpse cheering in it.
Probably yakety sack.
I'm tempted to go for it. Just like, by all means, please do torture the man.
I mean, it won't help us at all, probably.
No, but it'll make us feel better.
It'll probably make us feel better.
Make everyone feel better, except him, and we don't care about him.
Why are we all like this? It's like, it'll make us feel better.
I want to say we're Americans, but then I remember gamers. Okay.
But hey, just throwing my 2 cents out there.
Okay, now that we've got everybody moving again.
Is there anything more you want to ask the clients before they take their leave and let you guys start to plan?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't think we need anything else, because anything else is... What'd you say?
I think we got most of everything we can get from them that I think is pertinent immediately. If there's something we think of later, we can always go back and contact them again to ask them a question here or there. But I think for the most part, I think we got most of what we need, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've gone ahead and made sure that we have Olive in the shot. We're going to be protecting some dogs. We're going to make sure that we have the representation. Okay. So, my intrepid team of... You know what? Come up with your own name. I don't care. Ideas, whatnots.
Our intrepid team of larcenous layabouts.
We already have one idea, which is find this motherfucker, hogtie him to a truck, and then drag him through a field. I personally like that one. Do we have any less violent options?
I was thinking low speed, we're not going more than 5 miles an hour about human jogging speed, so he has to keep up. But you
didn't specify the field, which means we get to pick.
Okay, I thought I specified a high school gym track or something like that, what you get around the football field for track and field.
I mean, we're in Miami. Who knows what's on that field? This is Florida.
Who knows? There could be some swamp puppies out there.
Yeah, swamp puppies.
That is another good thing we can do. We could if we need to, we can hog tie somebody up above a swamp puppy and be like, I don't know how long this rope's going to hold.
Do you have any ideas that don't involve non-sexual bondage?
Are you really wanting them to focus on sexual bondage? That's what I'm getting from that question.
It'd be more interesting.
Carlos can pivot. I mean, I could put on the whole I could put on the whole leather outfit with the gimp mask and everything, walk up to one of these guys, have them in a dark room with just a spotlight on them, and
No. We're not doing leather.
Harness.
We're doing latex, so you can torture them with the squeaking.
And I'll just walk in and be like, well, guess what? Until you agree to do the right thing, me and you are going to have a lot of fun. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun for me. We'll find out if it's a lot of fun for you.
This would be a very weird episode of Leverage if the original cast members were involved. I'm just going to say that right now.
No, this just turned into an episode of Happy.
Oh God, yes, it has.
Okay. So focus. Let's focus on what we actually are going to do that will hopefully fix the problem, not just torture.
Yeah, we do actually need to fix the problem, not just make everybody feel better. Okay,
All right.
Martin,
What are you going to need, Mr. Mastermind?
What I'm going to need is specifically a copy of the contract, because I need to know exactly what wording they used in order to make sure that this was bulletproof legal. And then I need rough figures of the actual insurance on the building. And past that, see, here's the thing, because it's bulletproof legal, we have to find a way to actually nail them in court. And since verbal agreements aren't permissible in court, we can't use that against them.
I mean, we don't really need to nail them in court.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. We can't do the simple thing.
We just need to get them money.
Yeah, we are criminals. We don't have to do this by the book.
Yes, I'm saying we can't do what we've been doing and actually turn things over to the authorities, which is making this a more fun case. So I have to think of how do we want to take them down? Other than me just buying them out, because we could, but that's just anticlimactic.
We could steal all their money.
Yeah, we could embezzle them. At least 3 of us have been involved in embezzlement in the past.
Yeah, some of us are not we're not shy when it comes to money crimes.
It's true.
Wait a minute. Is there any of us that don't have embezzlement somewhere in their backstory?
Nope.
It's the thread that binds you all together.
It features very prominently in mine.
What'd you do this weekend?
Little B&E, some light embezzlement, usual Saturday.
I'm always embezzling. It doesn't even have to be on my own behalf. I just need to make sure that someone is getting embezzled and there's an embezzlee benefiting.
You know what? I want to find out more about this this dog racing, these time trials and shit, because I bet you they have some sort of illegitimate shell company that's running this shit so that they can get supplies and drugs and medication for the dogs. And they have to rent out a space somewhere.
Okay. You do some research on it, and it turns out that the name of the owner of Sunshine Realty is Aaron Hartley, known as Baron Aaron Hartley.
Oh, what a douche.
What he's involved... What's that?
I said, oh, what a douche.
Yeah. What he's involved in is actually run by the American Kennel Club.
Of course it is.
It's called Fast Cat, the coursing ability test. It's a 100-yard dash with lure, and it's timed. So it's kind of a race, but the dogs don't all run at the same time. Now, you can find on the website that the Kennel Club certainly has advice about how to do this without harming your dog. Doesn't mean everyone follows it.
Is anybody else getting a whiff of old school English fox hunting?
Yep.
I'm gonna have fun with this one.
I gotta grab something from the kitchen now. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Olive will entertain you, or she won't. She is very odd like that.
Or other Olive will entertain us.
We have another Olive?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Actually, it's Olav, as in L-A-V.
Well, if Olive was to wear some of those festive dog reindeer beret things, then they could be all of the other reindeer.
That's right. You should tell Rascalyn to get all of that for next Christmas.
So I think when we decide to revamp the leverage overlay, we're going to have to add a dad joke counter.
Oh God, no! I don't think we would be able to. I don't want it to explode.
You would just be incentivizing me at that point. Oh, that does remind me of another one that I got today, and I think I might have told Kate in here about it earlier. But did you guys know that the first Mortal Kombat was based off of a Swedish religious song?
No.
Or a Scandinavian religious song. It was called The Finnish Hymn.
That's bad.
I'd start a drinking game, but we'd give everyone liver damage.
I
Liver
actually
damage,
had
nothing.
to,
We'd all have to have our stomachs pumped.
I had to explain a such and such walks into a bar jokes to a coworker of mine who's not originally from the U.S. Yeah.
Man.
So as an
That's
example, I told her my favorite one. An ancient Roman walks into a bar. Bartender says, "What'll you have?" The Roman says, "A martinez, please." The bartender says, "You mean a martini?" The Roman says, "If I want a double, I'll ask for one."
I prefer a Roman walks in the bar. When the bartender says, "What do y'all have?" he says, 5 beers, please. Then I realize that only works if my cam's working, which I don't know if it is.
Oh. So one of my favorite about that is a horse walks into a bar, and he gets several drinks, and after about his 5th or 6th drink, the bartender is like, "You've had quite a bit. Do you think you're done right now?" And the horse looks at him and says, "No, I don't think I am." And then he blinks out of existence. Now you see, this was a joke about the famous philosopher who said, "I think, therefore I am." But if I would have explained that before the joke, that would simply be putting Descartes before the horse.
Oh, wow, that's bad.
The horrible part is they actually do use that in philosophy and psychology classes to teach you. So quick, while our hacker's gone, let's come up with more ways to screw over people and not tell him. Also, I'm rifling through his wallet as we speak.
Naturally.
You got 2 thieves in the same room as the hacker. Come on.
Let me see here. I mean, I can always. It worked last time. Are any of the people we're going after married?
Yes.
I'm gonna get a chastity cage as an asset.
Good thing I'm an expert when it comes to pickpocketing and lockpicking.
That's why we make it a Chinese finger trap.
Hey, that just might be a fun Saturday night for Carlos.
I was gonna say, who are you gonna put in the other end?
No, you put both of his fingers in both ends, so he can't get out until he figures out how to get out of the finger trap.
Well, I mean, that's easy.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're not as difficult as media likes to portray them.
I mean, not when you buy the cheap ones, but when you get it custom made.
It also depends on who you're giving it to. I think the difficulty has more to do with the person being trapped than the trap itself, so to speak.
This comes from the fact that all 3 of us know our proclivities.
So, anything else you would like to? Well, as long as the hacker is away, anything else you guys would like to
What can we learn without
know
him?
about or to think about? It's taking him a long time to get dinner.
Someone find me the American Kennel Club's code from 1843.
I mean, you've got an old school hacker. He can probably do it.
Yeah, but the hacker's
mean,
not here, so I need someone to go through books.
So if we can go in, right? If we can go in and take a few pictures on the down low of what's going on at these time trials to see if they're actually following all of the advice that the American Kennel Club is giving, and if we can show that they're not, we might be able to, like, at the very least, get the Kennel Club to distance themselves from what's going on there.
Okay, but how does that help us in the main run?
No, but what that does is, like, so I guarantee you they're using these time trials for something. I don't know what yet because we haven't looked into their books, into their papers, any of that stuff. But I guarantee you they're using this for something. And if we can mess it up even a little bit, it can likely, I don't know how yet, but it might be able to help us.
Well, the problem there would be that these are recommendations; these aren't requirements.
Well,
this is what they recommend for it, but it's not like, hey, you lose our sponsorship if you don't. They're not rules.
But like, what the thing is if what they're doing is bad enough, the Kennel Club.
If it's bad enough, then they're breaking the rules. They're not going to be breaking recommendations.
Well, my point is if they're doing that, then we might have something there. We might be able to get the Kennel Club to distance themselves from them. We might be able to. There might even be able to get actual law enforcement to do something because it might not be much because unfortunately, like animal abuse isn't like a federal crime or anything, right? But it's certainly going to put a damper on their day, and it might give us enough leverage for other plays.
Wait, we have a dog. Does the dog herald the return of the hacker, though?
One would think so, but hard to tell.
Yeah. All right. Richard, you have any suggestions?
Well, I mean, we definitely want to look into the dog racing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody like that, especially somebody who generally does, comes up with sneaky contracts and stuff like that. More than likely, it's going to be greedy. Therefore, if he's deep into that, he's making money off of it somehow.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting vibes of like an illegal gambling ring.
I wonder if it's possibly there's illegal gambling going on, not just here, but maybe other places. And what's going on with the kind of the shady, insurance and other stuff going on, and then possibly trying to maybe get these people out to resell the things. I wonder if it all might not be an elaborate ruse to launder what they're getting from their other sources. Though I might be getting ahead of myself. But that does sound like it could be a potential possibility.
Nah, shit. Just keeping a gambling house is only a misdemeanor of a second degree.
Well, that's not quite what I was thinking. I was thinking if that's where a lot of his money is being earned, all we need to do is wait for a big gambling day and go in and steal the money. We don't have to do it legally.
Yeah. If we steal the money, that's going to be a bigger hit. He can't report that. Because what he's going to do, tell the cops that his illegal gambling money got stolen?
No, actually, I was more looking at, is there a statute specifically for horse racing and such? Because if there isn't, that means that technically this may not be illegal, which means the money isn't going to be as much, so it's not going to make as much of a hit.
The racing might not be illegal. The gambling may be.
True.
If he doesn't have a license and an official business, thereby allowing people to gamble more without restrictions, the racing isn't what's illegal. It's the gambling that could be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's doing it, and if he's doing stuff on this, there might be other avenues or other revenue streams. The point is if we can hit all or most of their revenue.
Actually, I just found it. Any trial of contest skill, speed, or power of endurance, human or beast, is a third-degree felony, which means there is a shit ton of money to be made on that gambling. Because it's not just the gambling itself. I bet you they also do a participation fee. Did I mention that I grew up around an actual, like, recognized street gang?
Sorry that took me so long.
Okay, hi.
Am I hacking anything?
Your pockets, because two of us were rifling through your wallet.
Joke's on you. I used to work in a farm. You know what's in my pockets.
Joke's on you. I'm into that shit.
Literally.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Fingers are.
Not a good phrase to use at this point. Okay, so we are focusing on going after the dog racing first because we want to have some fun and steal their gambling proceeds. So do we have an address on their illegal gambling? It would be helpful to know where we're going.
Yeah.
Well, their illegal gambling didn't know, but I mean, if the trial runs and the agility courses and stuff runs those are generally public knowledge. I mean, he's known to be be invested in those. So, I mean, that's not that's not a big that's not something you can really keep secret when you have actual endorsement from the AKC.
So are you wanting to do some research on this?
Yeah, so I would like an address.
Yeah.
Possibly pertinent information.
All right. Well, you start by looking into Aaron Hartley in the context of these AKC events. Now, they are, completely above board. They happen about once a month in the Miami area. Dogs are timed. They accrue points based on their timing. And you find out that the top 5 dogs in each breed are invited once a year to the sort of national championship. And Mr. Hartley he owns a dog named Seminole's White Rose.
This man is pretentious as fuck.
Well, purebred dog. Who has come close a couple of times, but never actually gone to the national championship. You find out he's a member of the Greater Miami Kennel Club. And there seem to be, several local breeders who are also into this same thing. You find a lot of pictures of him with some guy named Bradley, Brantley Osborne. You also find some pictures of him with his wife, Georgia.
No, you are not allowed to go after Georgia.
What's that?
I'm telling Carlos, no, he is not allowed to go after Georgia.
But interestingly enough, she is never in any pictures with the dog. It seems
Is she a
from
werewolf?
what you did you say she available?
No, I said, is
A
she a werewolf?
Oh. Well, the dog seems to live with a trainer. One Shelly Chang.
Okay, I'm going to ask our dog lover. Do you want to sabotage the dogs, or do you want to steal the dogs?
Ooh. Oh, ransom play.
Oh, there's not going to be any ransom.
No, but that's how we get the money.
No, we get
We
the
should
money
never give her the
first.
dog. Okay. Is Shelly Chang on the table if the wife isn't? Because we got to get the dog somehow.
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
You also find that Brentley Osborne also has a dog that is up there in the rankings. It seems he and Aaron Hartley are kind of rivals in these dog racing or dog time trial circles.
I'm going to assume Martin is unavailable right now.
He seems to be
I'm
eating.
here. I hear you. I'm ready to roll. Literally.
I like to think Martin's actually eating in the scene where you guys
That's
are
what I'm
talking
saying. It's
about
like we're
all
just
this.
sitting there watching him eat, and we're like, so we're just going to let Martin do his thing right now.
Oh, where would you guys stay in Miami? Would you stay at a nice hotel, lousy hotel?
I don't know about you, but
Obviously,
I'm on
a
South
part of
Beach.
town that didn't
Lousy.
get damaged too badly.
Hold on. What was that? What was that?
We need the worst hotel possible. We need to really hit Miami's seedy underbelly.
Hell no. I am in South Beach. I'm at the Birdcage. Fuck you.
My time living in Florida in real life just, demands absolute squalor.
So maybe you're not all staying at the same place this time.
True.
I'm also South Beach just seems like such a Carlos place anyway.
Exactly. Bright, colorful, a lot of people in booty shorts.
Booty shorts, and because I'm there and I got to get my Florida man on, I got to get me some cowboy boots.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy boots and booty shorts.
And a crop top. That leaves, hey, Richard, where are you staying?
I'm probably staying somewhere,
Far
out
away
of the
from us.
mainstream. Probably a neighborhood that could use somebody spending some money.
That might be wherever I'm at.
That's kind of what I was figuring.
Yeah.
Works for me. We got the people in the more active area, and we got people in the more inactive area. Works out.
Now,
Okay.
the last thing that you come up with when you're doing your research is you do find the Sunshine Housing Agency's webpage. It's got like a video presentation from a bright young salesman who's like giving a tour of a model unit and so on going on. He seems very either he is all in on this or he has no idea what's going on and how bad it is. Hard to say.
Okay.
Nothing in between.
Okay, so we have two objectives. Which one would we like to pursue first? Would you like to steal all their money and make them look like complete assholes? Or do you want to learn more about Sunshine first?
Money first, because we need to get that working for the people who are in dire need right now.
Actually, that'd be great if we steal their money and then we put it into some kind of like we put it into some kind of like blind trust or something like that.
Oh,
Where
I'm putting all the money they made on the dog races straight into a charity that works for dogs and shelters.
well, not just that. What
Well,
I'm talking about
no.
is the money we get to help these people get their homes back and
Yeah.
their lives in order. So like we set up like like we set up some charity like something fund for the victims of what was it, Hurricane
Pierre.
right? The Hurricane Pierre victims restoration fund, right? And the thing is we set it up. We even get some people to actually maybe donate to it, okay? And then what we do is we steal all these guys' money and we launder it and throw it into the charity
As anonymous donations.
as anonymous. Yeah. And then the thing is these guys can't get their money back because they can't report, especially if any of it is ill-gotten. They can't report it's stolen. And the donations being anonymous, they won't know where that money came from. So there is nothing tying one to the other. We can even do it in like various amounts so that none of the amounts or even the number of donations match what was stolen.
I'm going to point one thing out, thinking as a thief. Why are you focusing only on one income stream?
No, I'm talking about all their income streams. Everyone, all of them.
Okay,
They're legitimate,
but
illegitimate.
Hold on. Follow the logic. You have the illegal gambling, and you have the legitimate money they make off the realtors.
Mm-hmm.
So you can easily take the legitimate money they make off the realtor business and use that for our charity without having to launder it. And then we have all this illegal gambling money that we can do whatever the fuck we want with.
Yeah, here's my one concern as far as the whole idea of charity. Putting it into a charity where somebody has to fill out paperwork, you have to split it up. If enough people from outside of our clients apply to get some of that money, our clients aren't going to get enough money.
Exactly.
We need to focus on taking care of our clients directly, not oh well, there's this charity, there's this benefit, this trust fund that they can apply to get some money to help them out and stuff like that.
Well, that my whole thing is you set up the charity specifically so that like we set it up and we're the ones running it, so we make sure that our clients get what they need first, and if there happens to be anything left over, that goes to other people to help make it look legit.
I want to bring one concern up I had, because my first thought was just siphon money in directly from their realty profits to pay for repairs immediately that they're quite obviously dragging their asses on.
Now
And
you're
that-
thinking like a mastermind.
But the question is, has that money already been laundered elsewhere? Because we can't get blood from a turnip that's already been squeezed. That is my worst metaphor ever, and I'm sticking with it.
Like you could get blood from a turnip, but only if someone else hasn't squeezed it first.
Technically, you get blood from a beet, because that's how they make the blood in fake meat.
Fair.
I can't believe I went with that.
Okay, so getting back to the actual planning. So your concern is that they may have already laundered the money and that it might be legitimate?
No, that they've already laundered the money before we can get to it.
Okay, but in
And it
order to
might be
launder the
longer.
money, they would have to have a way to get it back.
Right. So I was hoping to just make this a very simple, make them accidentally authorize all that money, but if there's not enough in their accounts, that's going to be a problem.
Okay.
If they're operating this as a
explain what I'm
hand-to-mouth
saying.
business.
In order, the easiest way to launder money is to put it through a legitimate business. And then
Right.
that business funnels it back into your business, meaning you get it back.
Right.
So it doesn't matter whether they've
Okay,
laundered
so
it
we're
or
probably okay.
not. All we have to do is take one end of that pipeline and funnel it to us.
Okay. So do we want, what part do we want
Okay.
to start on? Going for their legit assets or their gambling assets?
Well, who's going to be working on it? Who says we only have to do one or the other right now?
Yeah, exactly.
We've got 4 people. 2 people go for the legit. 2 people go for the criminal for the potential dark money.
All right.
Now, you are probably the best one to go after the legit money because you can follow the paper trail through all of those laundering companies.
Well, wait. Am I going for the legitimate money, the money that they're making from the condo sales and stuff like that? Or are we trying to trace the dark money, the stuff that's actually going to be laundered?
That's what I was just about to say. I am unsure.
So I'm going after...
I'm unsure which you would be easier, or which would be easier for you to trace. Because your skill set would suggest the dark money, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically, we can split up. I just need to know which one of us is pairing up with who.
Well, why don't you decide which one you want to work on for a start?
I'm going after the dark money. Because I want to put my mastermind and thief to work.
Okay.
So,
I can help Martin go after the legit money, because if he needs someone to infiltrate something or get something that he can't get digitally, I can
Forgettable
sneak in
face.
and do that. I can sneak in and do that. I can do it 2 or 3 times and people might not recognize me.
I love how that always seems to be the way we pair off.
If it works, it works.
Yeah. All right, so you guys are going to go after the legit money.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which leaves
I'll go
me
for the
and
legit money.
Richard for the dark money.
Yeah.
So, let's go after the legit money first. Because I want to make sure that we have a pipeline on that.
What?
Hmm?
Why are you saying we're going after the one first? I mean, it's... I understand
Team
as
order,
far
not-
as...
not breaking
we're
it up.
doing it at the same time.
Yeah, but
it's-
in game terms, which
Yeah.
one are we going to
breaking it
focus
into
on?
scenes in my head so I can better
Okay.
flip
Well,
and see
I just...
who I need to do what.
Everybody's saying, oh, we're going after this first. And it's like, but we're going after
No.
everything at the same time.
No, it's like
Yeah,
when
no,
you're
I
watching the
assume- I
show, they're
assume
not
both
going to
scenes-
do a split screen of us going after the dirty money while they're going after
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
I assume both scenes are happening at the same time. It's just which scene are we going to focus on?
Yeah.
So
And we
that's
can
what
go
I'm
back
saying
and
is
forth. We just want to get certain things done.
I want to focus
So
first
what is your-
on how I want them to go after the legit money. And I'm thinking
Okay.
the way that would rouse least suspicion is find it before it's laundered. Because if you find it afterwards, the books are going to be a lot easier for them to realize, hey, things are going missing.
Wait. They're going after the legit money.
Yeah, the legit
Yeah.
money
You
hasn't
don't
been laundered.
launder. You don't
No,
launder
you're right,
legit money.
You're right. I got things fucked up.
Okay.
Okay.
See, just looking over the roll.
So what is it that you guys are looking for?
I think it'd be best to start with just getting an idea of where, the flow of the legit money, what's in the accounts now, what is hit, total sales, estimated upcoming sales, budget, etc. I just want their whole picture view, because we
Okay.
are going to be basically directing these assets.
And then possibly
Now-
like
Oh,
the
go
other
ahead.
thing I would mention is real quick, because in their legitimate money flow, there might not just be this one company. There could be other either shell companies or subsidiaries involved with what's happening. And we probably want to make sure that we know what all of those are too.
Yeah, find the
Now,
weak link.
Delaney, I was going to say at one point you were interested in getting a copy of a contract. Did you still want? Did you
Yes.
want them to try to go after that?
Absolutely. I still want that copy of the contract.
Well, that can be what my focus on while That can be what I focus on while Martin gets all the digital data, because I'm sure all that stuff is online somewhere.
Right, yeah, you can pose as a home buyer.
True.
I can pose it as a home buyer. The only downside of that is I don't think a home, like, what am I going to be buying like right after a hurricane?
I mean, that's if you're a fixer-upper type, that's almost ideal.
Yeah.
Fire sales
True,
are a thing.
I could pose as a flipper.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Having literally done that, gone in and bought a house for $9,000 in real life. Yes.
Okay.
And
Well,
these are
then,
condos, so they're looking for your type. They're looking for young, dumb, stupid, and eager to make a quick buck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys have your assignments?
Yeah.
Okay, which of you wants to go first?
I think I would be rolling for all just getting that snapshot of their assets.
Okay, so you want to just hack into their system and see what their finances look like?
Pretty much. This is going to be mostly just getting in there, screenshotting their basic assets over the course of the day as they check in, as they make deposits, etc. And
All right, let me go ahead and set the difficulty for you. All right, they have pretty decent computer security, so beat a 12.
2d10.
As a reminder, everybody has 2 plot points.
I have only intelligence and hacker on this, to my knowledge. I can't. Well, this is involving communications. Could that work for the D8?
For which skill? Or which trait?
Wiretaps, radio, cell phones, intercepting emails, etc. Talent is, can you hear me now?
Oh, your talent, sure. Yeah, intercepting emails is pretty much what you're looking for.
All right, so that's 2d10 and 8, and I don't think I've got anything else usable here.
Well, I was going to argue, if you use an old school hack, you can always use behind the curve.
This is siphoning off financial information, which is ideal for a worm or a Trojan.
True. So that would be a d6.
No, if it's one of your distinctions, then you would roll either a d8 if you want it to count for you, or a d4 if you're willing to risk the rolling a 1 for the sake of getting a plot point.
I'll just do the 2d10, 2d8.
Okay.
I gotta beat a 12. Let's do this.
By the way, as a reminder, we have all changed our names on Roll Dice with Friends, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Except for me, I have to change mine every session for some reason. So if you saw a Dallas Dice Roller, that's me.
And I've got a 16.
Perfect. So I would say thanks to your old-fashioned backdoor methods, you managed to get into their system, take a look around. And the main thing that you are finding is that Mr. Hartley is paid a massive salary. That's where a lot of the agency's profits are going. So they own 5 different properties, all sets of condos. Not all of them were damaged, fortunately, for the people who live there. The one that you're looking at is definitely the worst off. The others have some minor damage. But there probably is not enough in their system right now to pay for the amount of repair that would need to be made to
That's what I was worried about.
The damaged property. Yeah, they would probably have to sell one of the others, or gasp, Mr. Hartley would have to not get his paycheck or his full paycheck.
That could be a plan.
I do like that plan.
Now, if his salary wasn't a factor, then they could probably manage it over a few payments at least.
I'm wondering if I could screw with the system just enough to reverse his last paycheck. Probably not.
I mean, it's already been paid out.
Right. I mean, where it would, something funny would happen, it would reverse that last transaction, but probably not.
You might be able to get his banking information from the deposit information from the company.
That's a point.
Which could give us his banking information, which we could then use to finagle some of his personal funds.
Assuming it's a standard ACH transfer. Okay. Well, that's going to definitely make him know something is up, so his guard will be up. But maybe we just want to get that done and get these people some help quickly.
Well, don't forget that even if you do reverse his last paycheck, that would mean the company has the money, doesn't force them to spend it on the repair.
True. What I was hoping to do is accidentally greenlight one of the quotes they've had for repairs and just pay that money out immediately, assuming they've had quotes. Actually, have they had quotes?
Yeah, they've collected some. There's no sign that they've been looked at, though.
Right.
Nothing has been approved.
Side note, when this adventure started, my immediate thought was, screw it, I'm going to repair this place by hand. But it was a bit too much of Andrew and Martin interacting in my brain.
Sorry. Yeah, this is turning into a very personal case for Martin, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, okay, the home damage is a personal case for Andrew. The dogs are a personal case for Andrew, but they are for Martin as well. So, you know my stories.
Okay.
All right, so while Martin is contemplating these things, Carlos, what do you want to do?
Like I said, I think I will go in to their office posing as a flipper.
Okay.
That way I can try to finagle getting a copy of one of their contracts. And if that fails, if I fail doing it that way, my backup is pay attention to where they grab the copies of the contracts from, so I can break in overnight and just steal one.
All right. Well, you get an appointment, and there happens to be a salesman available to show you around immediately. In fact, it's the same young chipper guy that's in the video on the website.
Okay.
What name do you give him?
Today I am Jean Grey.
Oh, okay. Mr. Gray, I'm Jose Dalton. Pleased to meet you. So I understand you're interested in one of our properties.
I'm gonna come up. And I got me a cowboy hat and everything. Yeah, I'm interested. I was thinking investing in one of these properties, maybe doing a little fix me up, make me a little profit on a quick flip. What do you got what do you got right now that's in dire need of a little TLC?
Well, we do have, unfortunately, one of our buildings was hit pretty hard by Pierre. I think we have a couple of residents who expressed interest in moving out. In the meantime, can I show you our, what's it called? Our model unit, and they're all pretty much the same layout.
Well, I
So-
mean, a model unit's fine and good and everything, and I do want to look at what I've what could be, but at the same time, I may want to take a look at what I'm actually going to be purchasing and what I'm going to have to work with. Got to see if the financials on this are going to work.
Well, he scratches his head a little and is like, so there is one unit that just went vacant, but I'm not supposed to show it to anyone.
And he's like, and I just give him like this good old boy smile, and I'm like, oh, come on.
All right,
you could show it to me. Besides, think of yourself. Think of that commission.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to. Why don't you make a face roll?
A face roll. Okay.
Yeah, do a face action. Let's see if you can charm your way into this, or at least.
Okay, so that would be grifter and.
I'm gonna suggest vitality.
Vitality. Okay, so 2d8s. Let's see what I get off of that.
And if you have anything else that applies.
Nothing that would apply on a face action, I don't think, because yeah, it's pickpocket and Hawkeye are what I've got.
Okay.
Well,
go ahead and roll your 2d8 then.
Okay. And I don't think forgettable face is actually going to work for this on me.
No, you have never. Most of you, let me remind you, have never defined your talents. Or shoot, what are they called? There's talents, there's attributes, there's
assets.
Yeah, no. Anyway, everybody has a certain specialty, basically. For example, on the original show, Elliot's specialty is cooking. Or if you talk about A-Team, BA's specialty would be mechanics. So it seems to me that Carlos ought to have a specialty in like seduction,
Okay. That completely fits with his character. So what does that get me in this instance?
It'll get you an extra die, and I just need to do a quick check to remind myself what size die. You know what? Let's not hold this up. Let's just give you an extra D8 for it.
Okay. All right, let's see what we get.
It might be a D6, but I'll be a little generous.
16.
All right, and I don't think with the stats this guy has, he can beat a 16, so I'm not even going to roll it. You have just created an asset for yourself, which means that you have created the impression that you want to create.
Okay.
So how would you phrase that? Charming flipper or something?
Yeah, the charming flipper. That totally works.
Okay, so anytime, I'm going to put that down as an asset for you.
Okay.
That means anytime you want to use your established persona as a charming flipper, you can roll an extra D6.
Okay. All right. So do I get to see the vacant location?
Yes, he says, well, all right, sure, fine. And he takes you to the building in question. There is a unit where the previous tenants have already decided to move out. You can see that there's extensive water damage, some structural damage.
Okay. And I'll just kind of now obviously my character's not he's not like super knowledgeable, like an expert or anything when it comes to building anything. So I don't think I'm necessarily gonna. There's nothing I don't think that like pops out at me as like this is, and I'll just kind of look around, and go, okay, I might be able to work with this. I think we might be on the way. I think we might be on the way to something, you and I. Now,
Really?
if and I was like, yeah. Now, let's be on the level here. What? It's like this doesn't actually look as bad as some of the other stuff around here. So why is it? So can you tell me, like, why is it you're not supposed to be showing anybody this place? You got like some kind of secret investor who really wants this place instead of anybody else, or like, I don't know. This almost looks like I'm like this almost looks like a slam dunk.
No, it's just that, it hasn't been cleaned up yet. It doesn't look good. And the model units are all clean and nice. We want to present a good face to the world, put our best foot forward, and all that. No,
And
he's
I'm
not
like,
British. Put our best foot forward. That's what we do.
okay, I'm hearing you. All right. Well, all right then. Well, let's get let's talk some let's go back to the office. Let's talk some numbers and see if we can hammer ourselves out a deal and get a contract going.
Really? So you want to take it? That's great news. Okay. Yeah, let's go on back. So you go back to the office, you get a contract, copy. Are you going to sign it, or are
No,
you
I'm not
going
going to sign it yet. What I'm going to say is like, now, it's not that it's like you seem to be a pretty trustworthy sort yourself, right? But I've been in this business quite a while, and you don't mind if I happen to take you don't mind if I don't happen to take. Can I get a copy of this contract before I sign anything? Have my people look over it before I absolutely commit to anything.
You're not going to sign today?
Who says I'm not going to sign today? My It's like my cousin Daryl. Just works an hour away. He could take a and he's a big old fat what was I gonna call him? Like he deals with contracts and attorney shit all the time. I was gonna have him take a look at it, and I'll be back here. And I promise, I'll be back here hour and a half tops. As long as everything's legit, you got nothing to worry about. I think we have ourselves a deal. And I say even willing to take it at asking price.
Ooh. You play dirty. I think we'll treat this as an extension of your face roll from before. So he says, "Well, all right, sure. Go ahead, take it with you."
Thank you, son. You just made yourself a heap of money. And I'll just give him that good old boy smile. Almost like if this was a TV show, I'd smile and you'd get that little glint off the tooth. And I go,
with a little noise.
yeah, a little bing, and then I take the nice little contract and I get out of there. And then I will and then I'll go ahead and contact Delaney and say contract secured.
Okay.
But I'll do it. But I'm gonna do it in my hillbilly contract secure there.
All right. So Delaney, this would be a great thing. Like we see Carlos coming out of the agencies as contract secured, and then of course the screen cuts to Delaney. Wherever you and possibly also Richard are, in your quest to track down a possible other source of money from dog gambling, what are you guys going to do?
I don't know, Richard. What are you doing? Because I'm looking up famous cheats here.
Amateur. Okay. Well, first thing I'm gonna do is check out the agility course that they usually that he is rather apparently famous for.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, kind of see what kind of what stuff they do and everything. You know,
It's a straight 100-yard dash with a mechanical lure.
That's not
okay. So this is
agility at
not
all.
agility
This
training.
is a speed course.
This one isn't. No, they also have agility training in the Kennel Club, but this particular thing is just speed.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna, kind of look through the dog names and stuff, and kind of like, okay, and just generally kind of hanging out, and boy, I wish, and kind of almost fidgeting a little bit as I look over the dog names and stuff like that, almost like an addict just wanting to scratch that itch.
Okay, so you're at the Kennel Club, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Specifically
and
watching his stuff.
how are you getting into the Kennel Club to do this?
Well, is there any form of security or something? I mean, it is a public thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just if you go past the desk, someone's going to stop you. Want to know how they can help you. So what story are you going to give them? Or,
so
you can infiltrate, just break in, sneak over the wall or whatever.
No,
Or
he'd probably come up with a forgery for kennel member an AKC membership card.
Sure, that works.
I mean, he's a grifter, not a thief, so.
Good point. You could have the hacker forge one for you.
And the roll on that. I was almost about to say, do you have that thing I gave you? But I don't have that talent.
Right.
I mean, I could just pickpocket one for him. I am a thief.
Yeah, but you're not there, so one of them could pickpocket someone.
Well,
So
I mean, I actually am with I am with Delaney though.
Yeah, remember we're together. They're the ones.
Oh, sorry,
who
I thought thought it was Carlos who wanted to pickpocket it.
No, that's not.
It's me.
No.
Okay, so Delaney, you want to pick someone's pocket, get a kennel card?
Absolutely.
I was going to say either that or you could do a flashback to have one created.
Oh no, I am definitely pickpocketing someone here. Actually, in fact, we need 2 kennel cards, so I probably need to pick 2 pockets.
Okay.
So what will be our difficulty on that?
Let's see. These are ordinary people, no particular reason to be suspicious. So just beat a 6.
Okay.
We'll call it one roll for the both of them.
Well, my thief is a D8. So let's see.
Thief, probably agility.
Yeah, so agility is a D10. And I don't think I'm going to need anything more than that, but yeah, because I don't have anything else that's going to play into it. So let's roll.
Well, you beat it handily. That's an extraordinary success, even. So, yeah, you very smoothly grab a pair of Kennel Club cards from a couple of guys who are walking out, like talking to each other. They never realize that their cards are missing.
And I will, of course, hand one to Richard and then walk up to the desk and go, hey, here are our cards. We're members of the Kennel Club, and we're just here to enjoy our afternoon.
Okay, well, feel free to have a look around. What sort of dogs do you have? Would you like a membership form? No, wait, you
what
already
kind
said
of
you were
dog do you
members.
have?
What's the let me help you dog?
Shelties.
Borzoi.
The what?
Borzoi.
Oh my!
Do it for you.
They're very active. Very high maintenance.
I'm unfortunately more of a pit bull German Shepherd kind of guy. I like big dogs that do big dog things.
You like big dogs and you cannot lie?
I like my dogs to be able to hug me, okay?
If a girl walks in with an itty bitty chihuahua,
I'm kicking that shit out the window.
Just don't say that out loud.
Actually, Chihuahuas and me get along well. It's the Chihuahua owners I don't enjoy. So it's her I'm kicking out the window.
You can kick all the Chihuahua owners out the windows you want.
Yeah.
Demonstration of most Chihuahua owners, very few responsible.
And remember,
All right,
I'm an animal lover as well, so...
Yeah.
So having done this, you go and look over the track. There's nothing remarkable about it. There's, when you get there, there's probably someone training a dog as you watch.
So
If you hang around long enough, you might even see a Seminole White Rose, but...
We don't care about Seminole White Rose.
Not yet. Yeah. Not right now.
So for now, it's just a little, I don't know, terrier of some kind.
Yeah.
That's doing some test runs on the track.
Okay, Richard, what are you doing?
All right, I am gonna kind of, go over to one of the trainer, kind of like, it's a nice dog. What kind of trials do you do here? I mean, is there like a competitive edge to it here? I know some are very competitive, some are just, we're just exercising the dogs.
We have official Kennel Club sponsored events about once a month, and they count for points in the league toward the rankings for the dogs. There's she starts going into the technicalities that once they accrue 500 points, they get such and such a ranking, and she'll burble on about it for about as long as you want to listen.
So I'm going to signal to him, find out about a mid-card dog. Not too good, but not too bad.
Well, I mean, you are here with me. You can ask yourself. It doesn't just have to be me.
I'm going to move over with the receptionist because I'm going to go get one of those membership forms.
Okay. Or, well, yeah, you're already Kennel Club members, but maybe not for this club, or
exactly.
Maybe you say you want to.
I want to join this one, but trust the process.
Join the league here.
Trust the process.
So, the trainer is explaining to Richard that the trials are divided by breed. So, different breeds don't compete against each other. The competition is all within breeds.
That makes sense. So just kind of like, he's going to, I'm going to inquire more along the lines of, focusing on competitions and what do you guys do to really bring in the crowd? I mean, there's as far as like really getting people to say, hey, do you have, is there a fee for people to come and watch the races or your events, or kind of trying to get information as far as what types of stuff they do.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a participation fee, of course, for, not very much, about $30 per event to enter your dog. There isn't a lot of seating here, but we record them. They go up on eBay. YouTube. And I don't know where eBay came from.
That'd be interesting. Hey, watch this video on eBay.
And the club members, are pretty competitive about it. Some of them, I think, have private wagers on the side on whose dog will do the best.
Okay, that's curious. All right. I'm going to very much let my face light up a little bit with curiosity as far as when he mentions kind of doing side bets and stuff, just kind of like, ooh, yes, but then then purposefully kind of back it off and just kind of like, yeah, oh really, no, can't get into that again, can't get back into that. Very much playing up the idea of being a gambling addict.
Okay.
And one that has had struggles with it in the past.
Got it. And at this point, I think she kind of drops her voice and says, in fact, we've got two gentlemen who, they're each hoping for a shot at the National Invitational, and I heard they have a pretty big bet riding on the next event.
Really?
It's supposed to be a secret. Well, it's supposed to be a secret, but everybody in the club knows about it.
What do you happen to know what kind of odds they're offering, or no happen to have a name that I might be able to of somebody that I might be able to talk to about getting in on that a little bit?
Oh, well, I mean,
at this point, he's gonna pull out. What? How much were the tickets? Like $20-$30? You know what? I'll take a couple tickets for it.
Okay.
Wait, are you bribing the trainer?
Yes, to get information.
So she actually gives you a couple of tickets.
Okay. Yeah. What were the tickets? What did you say the tickets were?
Well, the participation fee for the dogs is about $30. Tickets are a bit less; they're more like 20. And,
okay.
She gives you a bright smile and says, well, thank you for supporting the club. About the other thing, you could talk to Clay Stevens.
Clay Stevens. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for him.
Hey, what breed are those two dogs that they're running?
They are beagles.
Beagles. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know what to put on the membership form.
Yeah, you would have found pictures of the dogs when you were doing your initial research.
Makes sense.
Yes, well, he's getting that information. I'm filling out a form, of course, using our bogus names. And making it look like we have some beagles that might want to race in that particular event.
Okay. The next event is coming up actually in about 10 days.
Okay. So do we have all the information that we need here, Richard?
I think so. And I mean, I doubt I doubt they're going to have Clay Stevens in the facility on hand. And that's going to be something they're going to probably do, somewhere else.
Yeah, we're probably going to need to find a way to contact said Clay Stevens. We have a name, but we don't have any other way.
True, but if he's known around the club, then he's probably a member, which means we do have a hacker that can probably get
That was my thinking.
Address and stuff.
All right, so if we're done, time to regroup.
Okay. So you share, I assume, cross-share your findings with each other. Carlos, the contract that you have pretty much bears out what your clients told you. There's stuff buried in the fine print about how the company is not responsible for property damage, and it is the responsibility of the tenants to provide their own additional insurance for this. But it's buried in paragraphs and paragraphs of legalese, very easy to overlook.
Okay. So now that what do you want to? So now that we've got the contract, what do you want to necessarily do with it?
Well, like I said, I got to figure out exactly what it is that they're fine lining and promising what doesn't match up with the verbal agreement. So if they are promising insurance and they have a line in the contract that mentions it specifically, I would need to know what that says.
What the contract says, or what
So in terms of like what insurance they do cover, because there has to be, because like if they're saying there's insurance, there has to be some kind of coverage, whatever limited in coverage that is. So what is the limited coverage?
Yeah, so their coverage, it covers the exteriors of the buildings and all common areas. It is also the case that the policy has a quite a high deductible, the coverage that they have.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you, for having seen the damaged unit up close, Carlos, that you can also tell that the building materials used are not necessarily the best. They're definitely cutting corners here.
Okay. And then here's one other question that the contract will probably let us know. In the event that there is total destruction of the building, I'm assuming it's the real estate company that gets the payout from the insurance, not the tenants living there.
Correct.
It's a lot of what I expected.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have to deal with any misguiding language.
Okay.
So this leads us to two questions. First one being, how do we want to go after the legitimate funds?
Well, here's something we could do. I could go back as my charming flipper, right? If Delaney, you put up the money for it, I can buy that unit. We can then use the money that we pay for the unit with to track that money through their banking system to find out where it's all going.
Right, they would have to give you banking details.
Like get the account information.
Yeah, we can get account. There might be able to find out account information, what banks.
Because he works as a flipper, he's going to be expected to work with a separate contracting company, and because I have several real estate the companies, I can easily just say, okay, well, hey, in order to pay for this. Like, I'm the company that's representing his interests, but I'll need your routing number and an account number for this amount, which gets us everything we need.
Yeah, So all I need you to do is give me a check for the money that I need, and then I'll come back and come up with some bullshit excuse why it took me maybe a little longer to go. Be like, oh man, there's some traffic or something. Come back, give this guy a big beefy check that he can't say no to, along with a signed contract, and then we play it from there.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Is anything else?
Well, is that it for the
that
your
legit
next
money?
step?
For that particular plan, that's all I got at the
Mhm.
moment.
Okay, so we're gonna need Martin to start setting up a way to trace and track that account number.
Which some of that groundwork is already done, so this is just going to complete that.
Exactly.
So this would be. Does this count as how you hear? Can you hear me now? Since wiretap, no, it wouldn't. Well,
Wiretapping is for listening in on phones, landlines.
Yeah,
wiretap
unfortunately,
radio cell phones, intercepting emails. This is an ACH interception. It's just not quite the same.
I was about to say a wire transfer, unfortunately, does not have the same connotation.
It does not. Okay, so no, that D8 is not there.
Yeah,
But
Carlos, when you go back and give them that check, ask them if they accept Western Union.
Really?
behind the curve does count.
Exactly. That's an old-fashioned wire transfer. They still require bank account details, which means that it'd be easy for Martin to tag it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'll just come in with the wire transfer notice from Western Union and say, all right, here you go. Cash on the barrelhead. I hope you take Western Union.
Perfect.
Nice. And I can't think of any reason
probably
why.
getting real excited.
Wow, that was quick. Gosh. Yeah. I can't think of any reason why they wouldn't take Western Union. I mean, money's money, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, well, you, sir, are the proud owner of a new unit. It'll just, take a day or two for the paperwork to go through. I was just about to leave, but hey, you want to get a drink and celebrate?
And I'll sit there and go, well, you sir might have read my mind.
Delaney's voice in his earpiece. Slut.
Hey, now, he didn't start this one.
This one just fell into my lap.
Not yet, he hasn't.
Give me a couple drinks.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, get him a couple drinks. There you go.
Okay, so the Western Union thing is going through the system. While you're waiting for that, what do you want to do about the other thing?
Okay, this is where Richard and I have to discuss, because there are several options here. So which one do we like the best? Do we want to rig a race? Do we want to put in a ringer?
I think rigging a race is going to be a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Because putting in a ringer, we would have to falsify credentials with the AKC as far as them having scored enough points to qualify for that race at that level. It's going to be a whole lot more work.
So you remember when I asked what breed they do?
Mm-hmm.
We could. That's why I said find a mid-card dog. One that's not going to be too obvious that it's underperforming, but also it's not too obvious it's overperforming. Find one of these dogs and replace it with a slower dog that we can bet against.
No. That's good. That's good. My idea. Use something like valerian root or something that is non-toxic to dogs but will slow their heart rate.
I'm watching Martin's face for this.
It's non-toxic. It's not going to hurt the dog, but it will slow them down. And we use that on Little Miss White Rose.
Combined with chamomile tea, which acts as a muscle relaxant for dogs, and it would actually work pretty well.
There you go.
We just need to change out the water with that. No one can tell the difference on sight.
And it's not something that they're going to test for, because it's not. It's a natural thing that they could have gotten into. It's not something that's going to come up on a doping test.
And it wouldn't happen immediately. What'd you say? What was that, Martin?
I said I hate our combined knowledge sources here.
Well, look, one of us knows cheating, one of us knows poisons, and one of us knows animals. It works.
Yep.
The only issue I have with that plan is that we need to make sure it's a not long-acting, what is the word I want? A delayed effect. Because if it happens before they get to post, they're going to check it out. And then the whole plan goes to shit.
True. So yeah, it's something, you know, like Ras said, it's something that could be put into their water or something like that. We happen to have a few people that are good at disguises.
Mm-hmm.
That are you know, honestly, it sounds like a great job for Carlos. Because it would combine both being a grifter and being a thief to sneak it to slip it to the dog without being noticed.
Maybe not necessarily a new trainer, but definitely a new handler, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this.
Then, if we have if we can make the bet, we bet against White Rose.
I can always sweet talk the handler and then slip the dog whatever Mickey we're cooking up here, and not even be and no one be the wiser.
That's basically what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So, okay, we got to cover that second dog, though. Because remember, Rose is in deadlock with a second contender.
The other dog's name is Akbar, by the way.
Okay. So, yeah, that's...
So do we
they're
bet?
already competing, so, you know...
Do we bet on Akbar, or is it a trap?
One thing to keep in mind is that since they are both kind of neck and neck, the odds on either one are not going to be super long. If you want to really clean up, you'd probably want to sabotage both of them.
Unless we're pulling a double con. So, have you ever heard of a Kansas City shuffle?
Elaborate?
A Kansas City shuffle is where you run a con and you make people think they know the con you're running when you're secretly running another con. So we can easily sabotage the dog, bet against the one, and then, regardless of if they lose the race or not, when they go into their little strong room, they find out, oh shit, we've been robbed. Which would actually give a rare occasion that me and Carlos could work together as double thieves.
That could be fun.
I will also point out that Kansas City Shuffle qualifies as a classic con for purposes of wanna buy a watch, Richard.
Oh, I know.
And it gives me a chance to use chewing the scenery, because I would definitely be posing as someone that I'm not.
So here's the question. If we really want to go in deep, and if we really want to clean this, the specifically, what's his name again, Mr. Hartley out, we need somebody who can show up, flashy, throw a lot of cash around, and make a personal bet with him.
Mm-hmm. Which would probably be me.
So we need to get in good with the gambling crowd. Somebody who, you know, is really going to get the center of attention and really kind of start potentially throwing some money around and get his attention.
Okay.
Actually, Carlos, if you are going to sabotage the dog, it probably should be someone else.
Yeah. So if I'm going to sabotage the dog, someone else is going to have to do the that other thieving. Because I just won't be there for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is where we run into our conundrum. We have two thieves, both perfect for sabotaging the dog or taking the money. But we do also need a distraction. And the one with money to throw around is either I can give it to the grifter if he wants to play it, or I just do it myself, which frees him up to do whatever it is that he wants to do. And that leaves Martin with nothing to do so far.
Except pine over the dogs.
But you are also a mastermind.
Okay, how about this? You guys want to hit the bank? You guys want to hit the betting shop? Go right ahead. I'll take care of getting into the kennel club and dosing the white rose.
You know what? Now that I think about it, Carlos is not the ideal person to dope the dog.
Oh?
Carlos can put on a convincing act, but Martin is an unassuming hayseed who was a farmhand, knows about animals.
This is true.
True, but this is also partially a classic con.
Mm-hmm.
This is painting a horse, and making it look like a much better horse in order to try and sell it. Basically saying, "Hey, I've got something to give him a bit of an edge. I can make sure that he wins." This is a con. This could either work as sneaking it in as a thief or getting in there and doing it as a classic con. Plus, you want somebody who's good at disguises so that they don't question them. Honestly, I'm probably the best bet as far as getting in and dealing with the human side of taking care of the dog.
We got your job down pat. You can go in and do what you need to do. We need to figure out what they're doing.
So I will point out there's no reason you can't clean out Mr. Hartley and Mr. Stevens.
Also, there is something I can do if I'm not on site directly, and that's mess with their security. The usual camera loops and such on vaults.
I don't know if they'd have that in the gambling house.
Maybe not a vault in the traditional sense, but
They gotta be keeping them. They gotta be keeping the money somewhere.
Yeah. It's more of, the Kennel Club version is a public racetrack. But if you have too high of a security on that raises some alarms. So they're not likely to have cameras and key cards and all of that.
Could just be like a locked door and a deadbolt.
Exactly.
Which I'm sorry, but that's something my character could get through pretty easy.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is we can do, a double thief. Which means, either one of us can hit the safe or we can both go for it. But that leaves as to, what is Martin doing?
I mean, Martin had some ideas about tracing the money through the system from the business, but
True.
that's kind of the other side of the flip side of what you're working on.
But I mean, he could be working on. We don't all have to be working on this at once. I've got like the stuff I need to do for the legit money has been done, right?
Mhm.
I can
Exactly.
go in. Martin can continue to work that angle, follow the money, and do his thing while I help now in whatever capacity you need the assistance to get this other money to clean these guys out.
And it would work as a
And
three-man job.
And yeah, you've already started it as a two-man job, but no one's going to see the third man coming.
There is also the fact that doping the dog could be a two-person operation. You might need one person to distract the trainer while the other person actually administers the stuff.
I think that's what Richard was saying earlier. And as this is a classic con and a grift, I am letting him provide his expertise. So do you have any suggestions, Richard?
I mean, there's several ways we could do it. There's, I could go in with our hacker and distract while he administers. Like I said, there's also, depending on if we want to do a, I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Kansas City Shuffle?
No. Not that one. That one's honestly a bit too elaborate for what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. All right. What are you thinking?
Okay, so they're already neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hartley is is very much wanting to win. I'm sure Shelley Chang probably understands that. Like I said, I'm trying to remember what the general con is called, but basically go in, I could go in as somebody who's an expert with dogs. Hey, I have I have something that'll help out. It'll guarantee a win, non-traceable, we can, we can get this set up and I can guarantee you a win.
So like reverse juicing.
Yeah.
So I guess one thing to consider, and I'm just, throwing this out, you don't have to make use of it. If White Rose doesn't win, then Akbar probably will. Are you guys okay with that?
Why not juice them both?
Well, I mean, if it's a matter of we want one dog to lose, then the other one's got to win. Is that a problem for anybody? Is anybody invested in Akbar?
That's what I was about to say.
Well,
specifically, we know the one guy is a rival, but does he have anything to do with the realtor company?
You don't find any particular connection. It seems like their connection is through the dogs. What I'm getting at was if you guys wanted to place any bets.
Well, that's I think that's what we were already we're already going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah, we're going to bet on Akbar.
We bet on
longer odds.
That's what I was going to say. If you wanted longer odds to ensure we get the maximum payout, we dope them both and then bet on a third dog that will perform. That was just underperforming right below them.
Well, I think that's why Delaney was going to go into the betting parlor and try and hook up with Hartley and make a personal bet, not through the bookie, but a one-on-one bet.
Yeah.
For higher stakes.
So that way, when Rose loses, we still have that personal bet, which will pay out.
if I've already laid the groundwork for as far as, hey, I can guarantee a win, Hartley's going to be more sure of himself and more likely to make that bigger bet. Which I guess actually is technically a Kansas City shuffle.
So then my point is what am I going to be stealing? Is it with this revised version of the plan, is there something for me to steal?
Well, yeah, because what we're doing right now is we're drugging Hartley's dog, and we're making a bigger bet.
Okay.
We're drugging Hartley's dog and making a bet directly with Hartley.
Mm-hmm.
So you want me to go in and steal the bet money from like the regular bets that everyone else has taken, go in, find the cash box, and make off with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Martin does the slipping the chamomile to the dog?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because as far as that trace goes, he can do it on his phone.
True.
Okay.
We all good? We all know what we're going to do?
Another thing, it occurs to me that, again, feel free to use or reject the suggestion, but you could possibly get your hacker to mock up some video of supposedly what this wonder technique that you're going to be selling to Hartley does.
Is he willing to use AI?
It's definitely not behind the curve. Well, giant debate there.
This is more of a, are you morally okay with using this piece of shit technology?
Yeah.
I mean, if you got the right reasons.
Yes, right reasons, wrong tool, but
Remember, guys, we're criminals, but even we think AI is shit.
I'm gonna steal your money, but I'm not gonna
Fuck your money.
AI.
Your money's mine, but your art, have your art.
Keep your art.
But yeah, if our hacker can come up with something, can come up with a like video evidence, doctored video evidence of this miracle drug working, especially in an official, an official race where, hey, the dog was tested, came clean,
yeah,
everything's fine, that would just make it that much easier for to convince the trainer that everything's cool.
Is it horrible that the video editor in me is like, speed up the dog while slowing down the background?
I was going to say, maybe make it from another country.
Yeah, we could
just
do
to
that.
Make it harder to train.
Absolutely. So
Here's
that
what
way
the Australian champion was using.
Yeah. I like this plan.
Okay. I'm sorry, I gotta do this, but I found a cat-themed version of Monopoly. And let me see.
Are you interrupting for a dad joke when we're just about to spring our great big heist?
No, this is something I'm going to post in the Discord because this is intrinsically part of my my part of the plan.
Oh, okay.
Dear God, I shudder.
You see that Monopoly money?
Yeah.
All the cats on it?
Yeah.
Are you going to replace the money?
I'm going to replace the money I stole with Monopoly money that's cat themed in the U.S. Kennel Club dog betting pool.
I love it.
Better than what I was going to do, because I was going to use his Baron nickname and just like put all the money with "Don't mess with the king." I like it. Let's go for it.
Are we ready to spring the con then?
I think so. Oh, as far as the foreign country, I would love to use Krakozia as the country.
Oh my!
That's the one from The Terminal with Tom Hanks.
Do it.
Something that would be in a foreign language, so that they really have no idea what's being said. So,
and we use the National Bank of Anastasia, of course.
So yeah.
Okay, so what do you need to do? Obviously, talking to Hartley before the night of the match.
Okay, so we're talking me, and I need to play this up. So give me a second. Oh shit! What did we learn about Hartley other than he's a shit landlord?
He's married. He's a crappy landlord. He's very into these dog trial competitions. Has a rivalry with Brentley Osborne. Was there anything else specific you wanted to know
What
about
does
him?
Osborne do for a living?
Osborne is independently wealthy. Seems to spend his time just traveling back and forth between Boston, Florida,
Shit, so he's just a jack
New
off.
York. Yeah.
But we do both own properties.
One other question. Our landlord, is he known for wearing anything in specific, like a certain ring, like a wedding ring or something like that, right?
He is kind of a flamboyant dresser. Wears loud colors, bling.
Oh, he likes to think himself a pimp.
So
Yeah.
here's my thing. We might even be able to implicate him in the theft of the money that I steal. So if you're gonna meet with him, Delaney, maybe you could do one of those classic thief moves where you shake his hand
Slip the ring
and
off,
you walk
hand it to
off
you.
with one or two of his rings,
Yep.
right? Something that's very obviously his. You slip them to me. I put them into the cash box when I take the real money and replace it with the cat money.
I like this.
Like the sound of this.
Okay, so can you give me a quick description of the outfit he's likely to be wearing to this kennel club?
Let's say he is wearing a purple suit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I have to admit, I would do the same.
Yeah, but yours would be much more tasteful than his.
Okay, so just a plain purple suit,
Okay,
nothing
yes.
else?
Plain purple suit, gold
Tiger print
chain,
shirt.
black tie with orange designs on it, several rings.
Okay. I have to. So we're gonna walk in. I'm going to walk in a hot pink number with the white shoes, white spats, wide brimmed hat with the long feather, and a cane. If this man
And
wants
dark
to
glasses,
be a pimp,
little
we're going
round
to show
dark
him a pimp.
glasses.
For a moment there, I thought you were going Miami Vice.
No. And no, not large sunglasses. We're gonna go with T-shades. We're gonna go with the classic linen look.
Oh, well, okay.
Yes. We're a classy pimp.
Okay, so you're assembling this, but first I think we need to do Richard selling him on the, or we can do it as a flashback on the miracle cure.
Sure, yeah.
Richard?
How do you sell them on the
Okay.
miracle? What do you call the miracle?
We're not gonna get. You know what? That's a good question. Do we actually want to try and give it a name, or do we just want to say, hey, you know, it doesn't have an official
don't
name
call
because
it
it's
Red
not
Rocket.
something that. No.
I mean,
You can say it has an unpronounceable name in the language of wherever
right,
it comes
exactly.
from.
It comes from a foreign
Yeah.
country.
Yeah, it comes from a foreign country. There really is no translation for it. You know, it's just
These assholes don't believe
not
in
something
vowels. I
that.
can't pronounce this fucking thing.
Yeah. Okay, so well, first things first, we need our hacker to make to create the doctored footage.
About this.
Mm-hmm. And you don't need to make a roll for that. That would be an asset that you'd buy with a plot point.
Then I remove a plot point, and we have the asset.
Okay. So you have a D6 asset of video footage that you can use when convincing this guy that your stuff is the greatest.
Okay. And trying to think of what type of disguise or costume would work best for this.
Something that you can put together with minimal supplies, so you can use your talent.
I'm thinking like a slightly wrinkled but clean dress shirt, maybe like some overalls, something that's kind of like, somebody who's used to working around animals and stuff like that and dealing with animals, but has a sense of business style to him.
Okay.
So
how are you going to approach him?
I am going to well, it would be her, wouldn't it? The
you want to talk to Shelly?
Yeah, because she's the trainer. She's the handler that's really deals with the dog. So Hartley wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be approaching Hartley with it.
Okay.
But yeah, gonna approach her, as and kind of flash the AKC ID that we got, and basically tell her, say, hey, I was in the club here in town. They said you got a race coming up that's neck and neck, and you guys are really, and your dog is really vying for the top spot here, but it's really, really close. I even talked with Clay Stevens, and he's just not really giving good odds. So, one way or the other. So, how would you like to get in really good with the owner and make sure that there's a win? Like, that way he can really clean up with Mr. Stevens. I've got this stuff from this foreign country, completely undetectable, completely natural, not going to hurt the dog at all. You can, it'll give you that edge and just really just drive home a guaranteed win.
Well, I don't like the idea of doping the dogs. She reaches down and pets the dog.
Oh, no. This isn't really this isn't something like doping. This is, like I said, this is all natural. They've used it for a few years over in Eastern Europe. All of their dogs are just in perfect health. It's guaranteed safe. This is all natural. Nothing's toxic to the dogs. It doesn't, it's not like an amphetamine that's going to speed up their heart and potentially give them a heart attack later on in life. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. This is just something, like I said, just something to give you just a little bit of an edge.
A little pep.
She says, well, let me, let's make a roll for how well this goes over. Okay, she is hesitating. See if you can beat an 11.
Okay.
Nobody's rolled a 1 yet.
Let's see here. So that's there. So
You say
that's
that now. Now it's going to happen.
Sorry.
So we've got Master of Disguise, D8, Wanted by Watch, D8, D8 from Costume Made from Next to Nothing, D10
I need your
Grifter, and I'm thinking mental agility to kind of work around her complaints.
Yeah, dance around the conversation.
And I think that'll be enough.
Okay, go ahead and roll it. Whoa. Well, the good news is you easily get past the 11. The bad news is you have rolled a 1. And I know what your complication is going to be. She says, well, I like the idea, especially if you promise me that it's not harmful to the dogs, but oh, don't forget to roll the D6 for your video too.
Oh yeah, no, I did. Yeah, that's in there. That was actually the one that hit the 1.
Got it. Ironically enough, I want to see it in action. Can we do a test run?
Sure. Yeah, we can do a test run, no problem. When do you want to set it up?
Well, how soon can you get me this stuff?
Let's see.
Before the meet, obviously.
Yeah. So the meet's in 10 days? Well, I could probably have it for you. I could probably get you. I could probably get it to you we can try it out and show you what it does in a day or two.
Okay, meet me here, and I'm willing to be convinced as long as it doesn't hurt the dog.
No problem.
Very good. First rule of grifting. When they throw you a curveball, smile and nod and look absolutely confident.
Exactly.
I am shameless in the song that I have been repeating in my head for this entire scene.
Oh?
I've just been picturing best little whorehouse in Texas that I love to do a little sidestep.
Okay, so you have a little obstacle thrown in your way, which is you have to have something that will convince Michelle here, or Shelley, that this actually works. Beyond the video evidence. She wants to do a trial.
No
we
problem.
actually have to dope a dog.
No, because that is actually this is actually part of another traditional con for stuff like this. Just a little bit of ginger.
Mm-hmm. Counts.
Nothing says we have to give him the exact same thing both times.
Yep. Okay, so I'm assuming, what are we doing now?
Well, I've got a couple days to wait. You guys need to hook up with Stevens, Clay Stevens, the bookie.
Yeah, don't forget that we need to also be thinking about our end game while we're doing this.
Well, I think the trial is pretty much the only thing that isn't going to need to be done on the day of the event, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because the bet is probably best made on the day of the event. Put some pressure on him.
So, how do you guys want to rig the trial?
All right, rigging the trial. Let's see here. So, depending on how big is the dog?
Well, it's a beagle, so they're kind of medium. Not very chunky.
So probably a quarter of a teaspoon to a half a teaspoon of ginger based on the size of the dog. Mixed in with water, same way we would administer what the chamomile tea and valerian root. Something just to give it a little bit of extra pep, a little bit of extra heat in their system.
Okay. So you show up on the day, and Shelley's waiting there with White Rose, who is bouncing around. Seems like a pretty energetic dog to start with, but well behaved. She stops when Michelle tells her to stay. So what are you going to do?
Okay. I'm going to basically, take the ground up ginger, mix it into the water and stuff, and say, okay, here's what you gotta do. You really need to, all you gotta do is mix it into into a bowl of water, give it to the dog, and it will, probably 15 minutes to half an hour before the race, and they should be it should be good to go, no problem. And yeah, I'll just mix it in and give it to the dog.
Okay. I think for the effectiveness of this, I'm going to ask you to roll Mastermind.
Okay.
Plus intelligence, I think, to devise this this solution.
Okay.
Book learning probably applies.
Yeah. And that's a... What are the distinctions? Are they
D8s or
Is it
D4s,
D6 or
depending.
D8s or D4s? Okay. All right. And let me see here. What else? Again, this is technically a scam, because this is actually a traditional scam that, giving ginger to a horse or a bull or something like that. So there's another D8.
Yeah, totally.
And does my costume still hold up?
Yeah. I don't see why not.
Okay, so, and what do I need to get to?
You just have to beat a 6.
Okay.
Damn.
Whoa, okay.
11.
Excellent, which is a success with distinction. So, yeah, the dog just flies down the track. Shelly takes a look at her stopwatch, and her eyes widen, and she's like, she just equaled her best time ever.
The dog is running like her ass is on fire. Because it is.
Well, hell yeah. And again, something that is perfectly safe.
But we'll still make Martin twitch later, even though he knows it's safe.
It's okay.
So,
we'll get Martin
yeah.
a stuffy. He can squeeze it.
You have
I'll
got
let them
Shelly
hear it
Chang
now.
totally on your side.
Cool.
Taking a break for emotional support, Olive.
I am normally the emotional support human.
Yeah, Olive is the one who needs the emotional support.
Olive, come here.
She is anxieties or separation anxiety poster dog.
She basically is, yes.
Yeah, I had to dog sit one of those yesterday.
Let everyone
All
call out
right.
Olive's name and get her to approach the computer screen.
Olive,
What are we, a tribunal?
Olive,
Yes.
Olive.
Well,
Good girl, Olive. She knows her name.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we can fast forward to the day of the event then.
Sounds good to me.
does
right.
Carlos know where he's going for the break-in?
Well, I was just going to say, with a little asking around, you wangle yourselves an invitation to the private stream viewing event which is at Clay Stevens's house.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ah.
Remember, you're
So
there to
basically
steal the money, not his underwear.
So basically, everybody
both.
is going to gather there. They're going to have some drinks. They're going to watch the streamed event on his big screen TV. Money will be bet and exchanged, and everybody. Some people will go home richer, some poorer.
Well, we'll go home richer. They'll all go home poorer.
We count as somebody's.
So Clay Stevens has a pretty large house out in one of the suburbs. I don't know Miami well enough to suggest the name of a suburb. Maybe Rasklin knows. But
I know absolute dick about Florida.
Yeah.
So many memories.
I almost moved to Florida once.
Be glad you didn't.
I think we're all too sane to survive Florida.
Well, in my case, a hurricane literally wiped out the apartment complex I was going to move into and the business that I got my job at.
Well, then
Whoa.
this job is perfect for some catharsis.
Yeah.
And in my case, the hurricane was about to hit me in Tampa right after I moved, and then veered at the last second and hit New Orleans. And that was Hurricane Katrina.
Tampa was the city I was going to move to.
Tampa didn't get hit by a good chunk of Katrina. Well, what year were you doing?
This was in the early 2000s.
Okay, mine was 2005, which again was Katrina year.
Yeah, I think mine was before that.
Yeah.
When I say early
Tampa has a strange affair with hurricanes. The joke is that it scares the hurricanes off because they don't want to be caught in Tampa.
Having been to Tampa, I agree.
All right, guys, focus. We got the big finale happening here.
Okay.
So we start. Delaney, you pull up to the house in your pink pimp suit.
Yes. And why not? We'll just make it a classic white Cadillac.
Why not? So you stroll in. You see various dog breeders, owners, interested parties, people who just like to gamble. Drinks are being served. There's a bar. Clay Stevens is a shortish guy with close-cropped white hair, and he is wearing little round John Lennon sunglasses indoors.
I DJ the golf with shades. I can say nothing.
Look, we've all made questionable wardrobe choices.
Looks at you and says, new arrival here. Welcome. Have a drink. Make a bet. Enjoy the evening. And he turns to go and circulate.
I'm assuming I'm going to this place too because I gotta steal the money, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you going openly or are you sneaking in?
Oh, I was gonna show up because I'm gonna use it to my advantage. I am going to show up as the charming flipper. Since I just bought a very expensive piece of property off of this man.
Exactly. He wants to show off what he can do. You're not showing up in hot pants and a dog collar.
So I'm showing up. I'm showing up as like a friend of somebody or something like that. It turns out like I'll be showing up as like, I don't know, Delaney's friend or something. But I'll show
we
up
absolutely
on my
do not
own.
know each other. Plausible deniability.
Whatever we need to do, but whatever my story is, I'm showing up as, somebody. Anyway.
Well, decide who you're showing up as, because that's kind of the point of this kind of game.
Well, I understand that. My plan was showing up as the charming flipper. Maybe I was told about this party by the by his employee or something like that. Who know? I don't know how, but that would be. But I'm going to continue to use this character.
Okay,
is what I wanted to do.
So, you could, if you wish, have in the intervening 10 days contrived to meet Mr. Hartley, and maybe even
maybe I convinced his associate that I could possibly have that if I met Mr. Hartley, I could possibly give him there's a lot more real estate business that I could potentially throw his way, or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I would need to talk to the man directly.
Oh, yeah, because you are a flipper, so you might have several houses on the cheap.
Yeah. And he might want to be able to make a quick buck himself.
Yeah, so maybe this is actually how you guys got the address of this place. If you turn the conversation to let's have a flashback where you get the address out of Hartley while you steer the conversation around to how much you enjoy betting on things.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are in place. I assume.
So it's the night we're having drinks. It's the night we're having drinks and we're celebrating. I get him 3 or 4 drinks in, and I'm like, I get him 3 or 4 drinks in while I'm working him over, before we do whatever other stuff we're gonna do. But I'm like, you and your boss want to make some more money. I can. I've got several other properties I got my eye on. And I could always use a realtor in my back pocket, if you know what I mean.
Okay. So yeah,
so while he's drunk, and I'm just like, and imagine those sweet commissions.
2 commissions.
2 commissions, and I do that fake drink thing where I get him to drink, we toast, and then he knocks it back, I knock it back, but it falls into falls onto the floor behind me.
Okay, so you're in place, Delaney's in place. What are Richard and Martin doing?
Right. Well, Richard is going to make sure that she has the valerian root and chamomile tea mixture.
Okay. Are you attending the match, or are you just going to give it to her and fade away into the?
I figure we'll probably be there we'll probably be at the event.
Okay.
We've already. I went ahead and bought 2 tickets, so we might as well use them.
Good point.
But yeah, so probably actually show up there, just kind of. I'm probably gonna have already given it to her, and since I showed her how to mix it up and stuff and everything and stuff, and having somebody else giving her dog water might be a little bit questionable, but with how convinced she was that it works, she should be all in on doing it herself. So
yeah, definitely.
I figure we'll probably be there, and as just as not as the person who sold her that concoction, but yeah, actually they're at the event.
Okay. Yeah, there's limited seating in small row of bleachers. Martin, what about you?
I am basically dressed to blend in with the general maintenance staff who take care of the dogs, which means I'm going to be doing the chamomile tea switcheroo, which means I gotta distract someone else on shift so I can go fill the water bowls myself.
Okay.
That might be a mastermind role on my part. It's going to be that or grifter. I'd rather go with mastermind.
Well, depends on what your plans are to distract someone. How are you going to do it?
Actually, you know what? No, sorry. I forgot that Martin was doing the switcheroo and the drugging. So I will distract. I'll run interference for you.
Thank you.
That works. How are you going to do it?
Well, I guess at that point, yeah, I would be actually still be in the same disguise and just kind of, talking to her about the dog and really diving into the, understanding the diets. Like, so, I know like lean meat and rice and certain types of vegetables. What else do you do for, what kind of diet do you and exercise do you give your dog, and like really trying to get her into her comfort zone for just, talking and really going on.
Oh, well, I think the key is that I have 2 dogs of my own that White Rose can play with. And she chats about that. So let's see. Martin, so you're going to be doing the switcheroo there, which is going to be thief, I think.
Damn it, I'm a D4 thief.
Well, things could get interesting.
So is this going to be agility plus... Yeah, agility plus thief. I'm a very agile, not thief.
Okay.
And
what else
behind the curve. And I only use one distinction, right?
Yeah, I think unassuming hayseed works better here, because that's your blend in with the scenery ability.
Sounds like I got a 2d8 and a d4.
Okay, let's see. So you'll need to beat an 8.
With the 2d8 plus and a 1d4. Here we go. That's an 11 with no ones. Thank the gods.
Okay. Nice risk there. So by rolling the D4 was your thief. So yeah, you do this quite smoothly while Richard keeps her talking. Nobody is any the wiser.
Okay.
And they're doing all the pre-match stuff. Some of the earlier dogs are taking their runs and so on. So while this is going on, I imagine Delaney is going to want to be working the room back at Clay Stevens's place, and specifically looking for Mr. Hartley.
Yeah, I want to find Hartley and start working on.
Yeah, well, that
pride
purple suit stands out.
So I'm definitely going to approach him, and let's see. He is a known realtor around, right? Like, he's fairly big. Yeah. So that's going to be my angle is oh, hey, I hear you're a rather big realtor around these parts, that you've owned a lot of property. But I also hear that, you've got a reputation for using some pretty shoddy ass materials. Really go for that pride in the I'm a better investor, I've got better properties kind of thing. We're gonna make it a dick measuring contest.
Okay.
So I want to rile him up. And
let's do a face action then to see what kind of rise you get out of him.
All right. Remind me what I need to do for a face action.
So you're going to set the stakes on this one.
Okay.
And then if you beat my roll, you establish the persona that you want to establish, and you're and can use that to your advantage.
Boy, dare say the stakes are definitely getting him to... The stakes are definitely getting him to agree to this bet. And the persona is going to be a
like
confident,
infuriating
a confident
rival
but
or
not
something.
bragging rival.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely that, I know I can afford better properties than you. I know I can do all this. I don't need to resort to underhanded tactics.
Infuriatingly superior.
Exactly.
Okay, well, you'll want to make a grifter roll.
Okay. Let's see. My grifter is a D6.
And with this kind of overbearing performance, I'd say either strength or vitality.
I will go with vitality. So what did my vitality come out to? A D8.
Okay. Chewing the scenery almost certainly applies.
As does my confident.
Mm-hmm.
So I can also add my mastermind because of chewing the scenery, so that'll be my D10. And for variety, because we always do D8s, because I'm using my confident, I'm going to use D4.
Okay. Take a plot point.
Okay.
Because you automatically get a plot point just for using the D4. And if you roll a 1, you might get another one.
Okay. And this also plays in the specialty, but as far as I know, specialties don't give us any more die.
What is your specialty?
Real estate mogul.
Oh, go ahead and add another D8. I need to look it up. It might be a D6, but I'll be generous tonight and call it a D8.
That's how I got my third D8 earlier.
And I think that's everything.
Okay, go ahead and roll it. Set the stakes.
Okay.
Ooh, that would
That's
be
a
a 15.
Stake.
Let's see.
A 15's not bad.
Yeah.
What am I going to roll for him? I think, well, we're going to roll his real estate die. Definitely. Oh my, okay. He rolls a 9 and I rolled a 1, which means the free luck goes up to a D8. So yeah, you have got him off balance. And you now have a D6 asset, infuriatingly superior, which you can use in your roll to talk him into an unwisely huge bet.
And I think I will. So let's see, how are we going to word this bet? Because we're also going to pretend we're betting on Akbar. So I'm just going to say, I've been watching Rose, been watching the last few races. And dog doesn't look like she's doing so well. Looks like she's kind of slowing down in her age. I think she's losing a step. I don't think she's got what it takes to pull out this race. But Akbar, on the other hand, he looks like he's got some fire. He looks like he's going to do pretty good on this race. I bet you that Akbar's going to pull this one off.
Okay. How much are you going to ask him to bet?
This would be good if we knew how much we needed to repair the housing.
Would you say I could spend a plot point and have the average of all the quotes?
Sure.
Spending that plot point, so I lose the one I just had, and you have a D6 signature asset list of quotes complete with averages, median, etc.
Cool. So, what did they come out to?
Mumble dollars.
Okay.
We'll just say you set the amount
We'll set
for,
the bet for
or you set it for
a little more than what they actually need.
Mm-hmm.
So, that way we're padding it just a little bit so he doesn't get too suspicious, but still not enough to spoil the pot, shall we say.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So let me how difficult is he going to be talked into this? Here's the thing. You're hitting some of his you're hitting two of his weak points here. Dogs and rivalry. But you're still asking for a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So to talk him into this bet, you're going to need to beat a 14. However, free luck is up to a D10.
And I do have that D6 asset, so we're going to go ahead and use that.
Now remember, when you have a plot point, you may want to wait till you see what you roll, but you can always use a plot point to add extra dice.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming that we're still doing this as a grifter.
Yes.
Right. So that's another D6, and because I'm
talking people into doing things is definitely a grifter thing.
Yeah. And since I'm still posing, we're gonna add our mastermind dice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This is not going to be a strength anymore because we've already proven strength. I'm gonna go with agility because I need to be able to wordsmith. So that's another D10.
Okay.
And then this isn't going to be confident. So I can go one of two ways with this. I can make it a fun bet and use fun loving, or I can just drop the axe, immediately tower over him, and just use resting bitch face as a, I bet you don't have the balls to take this action. I think I'm going to do the resting bitch face, and we'll do that as a D8 this time.
Okay.
And I think that's it. I think that's everything that applies.
And you have your D6 from your new asset?
Yep. I kept that up before I even rolled.
Alrighty. Let's see what you roll.
Wow.
So.
We pushed that one a little far.
Yeah. You might want to think about reaching for the free luck.
Oh, I'm absolutely reaching for the free luck. What is it up to again?
A D10. Now, just tell me what lucky circumstance helps you out here.
Well, let's see. First, we got to establish what went wrong.
Good point. So he, I think he just balks at the amount you're asking for. And he's like, I don't bet that much on anything.
Okay. So we're looking at cold feet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Could is it possible that I could come in on this?
I was thinking, yeah, Carlos is here, and Carlos did just drop a lot of money. But as Richard just pointed out, we also have the drug.
The surefire win that we gave his trainer.
Exactly. So, he could, his trainer could just send him
he could assume that he's got a sure thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, like, his trainer could send a text, be like, hey, that miracle drug, we just gave it to the dog. There's no way we can lose.
Okay. That sounds, yeah, okay. So your luck is that the text comes through from the trainer reminding him about the miracle drug.
Yeah.
So, okay, so he's starting to say, I don't know, that's an awful lot. And then the text comes, his phone chimes, he looks at it, roll the D10 to see if that makes the difference. Ooh. So here's the thing, you are still going to have to spend a plot point to bring in an extra die to get this over the line.
All right.
Because you have a 9 and 2 4s.
Yeah, but what does he have to beat?
A 14.
14. And he's got an 8.
13.
Oh, it replaces. It doesn't add, it replaces one.
No, yeah, it replaces one of the die.
You're always adding the top 2. So that is now one of the top 2 dice.
So.
And what is it to spend but you can spend a plot point to bring in another die, can't you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I also have that Archangel talent, which means I would just need another asset.
Well, how many plot points do you have?
You just got 2 from rolling 2 1s.
Yeah.
So you can spend one of those plot points, throw in the 4, and you win.
The second 4, yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that.
So you
don't make it any harder than you have to.
Well, no,
especially with how you're rolling tonight.
Gaining plot points like crazy. So sometimes I'm like, I have 5 plot points. What the fuck am I going to do with 5 plot points?
Well, you can always hand them out to people during the flashbacks, which will be coming up.
Yep.
However, you've also developed a complication here, a D8 complication at that. So I think I know what this is going to be. The trial times are happening, and the you gather around, you watch the trials happening on the stream, which is being broadcast on Clay Stevens's big TV. White Rose does not do well at all. And the results are about to be announced when the announcer comes on and says, just a moment, I have we have a slight delay in reporting the official awards for this event because someone has brought to our attention that it seems that I don't have all the details, but it seems that there was something suspicious that was caught on camera. It's believed someone may have tampered with White Rose. Stay tuned. We'll have more information for you in a moment.
Okay.
So you realize that the switcheroo with the potion may have been captured by the cameras may have been rolling when you didn't think they were for the stream broadcast now. This might be a chance for the hacker to go in and try to modify some things.
Well then, that would be 2d10 and let's see, wiretaps during intercepting emails. Sea of Calm apply here? Oh wait, that applies to other people, so.
I mean, I'm not really fucking calm here.
Fair. That would be me making you calm.
Yeah, I know.
So let's see. I'm going to say, actually, I think this is going to be a timed action. We don't have these very often, but you are going to need to do 2 things. You are going to need to get into the system.
Okay.
And you are at the racetrack still, right? Or the kennel club?
I believe I would be.
Okay. So you're going to have to figure out a way to get into their system. Probably using their equipment, because whatever, either you'll have to get onto one of their computers or you'll have to somehow get into one of their computers real fast. And then you're going to have to
spending my last point. Master of Castoff spending my last point to find an old server in a terminal they're not using anymore that's still hooked up to their network.
Okay. So that's task number 1. Task number 2 is going to be to doctor the footage somehow to conceal what you guys just did.
Can I use the doctored racing footage from earlier as a D6 for what I have left over from that to put together something quickly?
Sure, but we're still going to have to roll.
Very good. So that is 2d10 plus a d8 for the thing and a d6 for the racing footage.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. if you, because it is a timed action, the amount by which you succeed or fail may affect how much time you have available. It's a shame that Olive just wandered away because you may wind up needing him. No, other Olive. You may wind up needing Richard to buy you some time if this goes slowly. But let's see how you do. So the first thing you want to do, you say, is find an old terminal that is still hooked up but not in use.
Right.
I'm going to set the difficulty for that one fairly low.
Not to use a plot point for it. That's what I was originally thinking of doing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't know if that counts as an asset.
Yeah.
I was thinking of using it with my Master of Cast-Off's signature asset.
Right. Well, that gives you a D8 to roll.
So D8 for that, D6 for using my pre-existing footage to doctor further.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to be at 13 on 2D10, 1D8, 1D6.
Yes.
All right. Rolling
now
this.
Okay.
What's wrong?
I was going to say you can spend the plot point to create an asset separately, but you may want to save it for a future roll.
Okay, so you're saying don't spend the plot point?
Right. Yeah. Keep it for now.
Okay. So that's just Master of Cast-Offs plus my previous footage, plus my hacking, plus my int. All right, rolling it.
Okay.
9.
Okay. Yeah. Now you may want to use that plot point to add an extra die to your total there.
I believe I will.
Okay. But here's the thing. Even with that, you've only equaled it. You have to beat it. Free luck is back to a D6.
People mind if I did that?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Then let me just add a D6. Is that basically how the free luck works? I've never used the free luck personally.
Just roll the D6 and it can replace another die.
That's the one I needed to take away from one of the 4s.
That is exactly what you needed, yes. So with the free luck, so tell me how you luckily stumble across a terminal that is what you need.
The terminal was in an old cubicle belonging to a recently downsized employee who had everything set up for the long haul but didn't know their job was about to be canned.
Okay, so you get in and you are now in the system. You are finding the streaming feed. And next what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to doctor it. And you're going to have to work quickly.
All right, that is, again, the D6 for my previously used footage. I'm at 0 plot points. Let me do that. Master of Cast-Offs for what I found here.
Sure.
And 2D10. And I've got to beat an 11.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, they use OBS.
16!
Beautiful. So you succeed with style. Your fingers are flying. You're modifying the footage on an unfamiliar computer at top speed. What do you change it? How does it look when you're done with it?
Everything looks perfectly natural with, little streaming gaps explaining away, the whole bit of freeze, bit of everything looking convincing to, clearly someone was just looking at it wrong and got their heckles up and people were just being paranoid, is what my stream brings across.
All right. So, having completed your speed hacking job, you can sit back and breathe a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, back at Clay Stevens's place, the announcer comes back and says, "All right, I am getting the word that the footage has been reviewed. No evidence was found of tampering with White Rose. Therefore, we are pleased to declare these are the results of today's Fast Cat time trial, and the names of the dogs and their times appear on the screen, all in order, with Akbar in first place." Cheer goes up from the room. A rather portly guy with a Boston accent is getting lots of compliments and backslapping over in one corner, and he looks over at Hartley and just goes like this at him. Flips him the bird. So there's
got like 3 Discord notifications without any messages.
No.
No.
Okay. Cool. I'm sitting here hearing
Carlos,
messages pop, and I'm like, I can't find him.
What have you been doing during all of this? And what do you want to do now? Because the payouts are about to happen pretty soon.
Well, while this was happening, I wanted to have been trying to find out what he's keeping the are these cash bets? Where are they keeping the funds within the house?
Yep. You actually see Clay. He's collected funds from everybody, and he goes into an office adjoining the big room where the party's being held, and you can see him deposit the stuff in a safe.
Okay. Well, so I want to use the distraction of like everyone's like, "Excuse me, but we have an announcement to make." Like what happened on there. I want to use that as the distraction for me slipping away while everyone's so fixated on the TV. I just go slip into the office and find and get in and get into the office, get in the safe, pick the lockbox, pull the cash out, replace it with the Monopoly money, and replace it with the Monopoly money, and then put it back in the safe, right? And then walk out and try to walk out before anybody realizes what's happening.
Okay.
That's my plan.
All right. Let's see. To get through that, the safe itself is good, but it's a home model. Nothing really state of the art.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the D8 for that. Another D8 for the fact that you are like one closed door away from being discovered.
Yeah.
So you'll be beating a 7. Free luck is now a D8.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to go in. Now, here's my question.
No, you'll be beating a 6. I'm sorry.
Okay. Can I use the complication from earlier, the D8 complication from earlier, as part of my role, turning it into an advantage, because that's what I'm using as my cover from for getting in?
Yep. That is a quintessentially leveraged thing to take your lemon and make lemonade out of it.
Okay, so that's it. That's going to be it. So that was a D8. So I get a D8, and then this is all just standard lock picking stuff. So agility plus thief. That's 2 D10s. And can I throw in because part of me also slipping away is, despite how the hat and how garishly I'm dressed all the time, I got my very forgettable face. So it's easy for me to not notice that the cowboy isn't here.
You could leave your hat behind.
Yeah, the hat's behind, so people notice that, but like, where did Florida Man go?
Right.
So that's another D8.
No, I mean, if you want to, make extra use of your forgettable face, just take off the hat, discard it somewhere.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Where
okay.
did Florida Man go?
Got it.
And so 2d8 and 2d10, that should be more than sufficient to beat a 6.
Let's hope. Roll it.
Let's hope.
Ooh.
Nice
Wow.
job jinxing yourself.
I mean,
Okay.
you absolutely beat the 6.
Okay. So what's my okay? Now, there's no way to get rid of either of the ones for the complication.
No.
Then
However,
what is my
here's the
complication?
thing. I think since we are coming into the end game here, I'm just going to choose not to take up the ones, which all that means is you don't get the plot point for it.
That's fine with me.
But I think we're ready for end game,
Okay.
so we'll ignore the ones.
Okay. Well, that's lucky for me.
And I didn't even have to hit
just
anybody
one last
with a
little
pimp
bit.
slap.
One last little bit from the party, and then we'll move into wrap up flashbacks.
Mhm.
So Delaney, once they have announced the winners, Hartley looks at you, and he's got like an oh crap look on his face. and he's like, can we talk about that bet?
No, not at all. It was a pleasure doing
All
business
right.
with you. I'll expect that money in the next 38 hours.
I think we're ready for wrap up flashbacks at this point, would you say?
Okay.
I think so.
Sounds like it, yeah.
So, Rasklin, I will point out, if you want, you could, if you don't have other ideas, you could do something with that wire transfer you were tracing. But if you
Yes.
have another idea, then
I mean,
we should pick up the thread of the wire transfer. But the question is just whether you want to make it your flashback.
Honestly, I'm going to just put in a subcommand in their thing that the second the money is there, contractor's getting paid off, work starts immediately. It is hitting well before his paycheck.
Okay.
If it puts a temporary hold on the paycheck on the system end, which I just got to do it on the system end, perfect. I don't gum up their operations completely. I don't gum up their operations at all. I just gum up his personal payout.
All right. I'm going to set difficulty. I'm going to say, see if you can beat a 9.
All right. So I've already got a tap in there. That's a D8. I've already been in there. I don't know if that's going to count for anything. So because we've got the other stuff they've given, such as the other banking details from earlier.
Right. Oh, didn't we? Oh, I know. We created an asset about the banking and asset details. So roll a D6 for that. I forgot to list it on the assets page.
Okay, so that's 2d10, 1d8, 1d6 again. Rolling that.
Okay.
Good job.
14.
Very nice. So yeah, that all comes through like a dream. Mastermind, make a note. You get a D6 for the hacker's efforts there. Who wants to go next?
Oh, what could I have done? Well, you know what? Just to throw a little more salt into the wound, I want to have, when I first met this guy at the party, what I was talking about having possibly Delaney do, but never got brought up again, was maybe when I first meet him, I talk a little business with him, shake his hand, and I do, you know, the classic, I shake your hand and I take a ring with me.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. That'd be
Because
a good
we
one.
did want to implicate
I would have, yes, to implicate him in his own bet, you know, thing. I want to get that ring, like maybe it slipped off his finger into the lockbox when he changed out all the money, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so I just want to do that, just a fast and dirty pickpocket while I'm shaking his hand.
All right. Oh, beat a 4. My gosh, this is going to be real easy, especially because he does not see it coming.
Okay, let's see what I got. So that would just be thief, agility, and my ability. What's my pickpocket ability? What's it? Well, the ability pickpocket. Is that a D8 or a D6?
D8.
Okay, so a D8 and 2 D10.
Yes.
My God.
No, you're good. Ones don't count during
Oh, they
the
don't count in the flashback scene.
right, in the wrap-up
forgot.
phrase.
Well, good. So a 10 over his 5.
Although I am going to count mine to put free luck back to a D10 just in case it's needed.
Okay. But I did get I got an 11 over his 5 or 4 or whatever it is. So I just slopped that ring off without him even being none the wiser.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. And then when I made my roll earlier, where that's where I put it in the lockbox with the Monopoly money.
Okay. How do you leave the scene, by the way? Do you shut up the safe and
I make it look like nothing happened. He's the only one who ever got in there.
Okay.
Because why would the charming Flipper have any reason to go in his office?
True. All right, Delaney, that's another D6 from Carlos. Richard, what do you want to do for your wrap-up flashback?
Okay. I'm trying to think about what I want to do. I don't. I mean, when are we doing the confrontation? Are we like
flashback?
Well, no. I mean, as far as the story goes,
Is it going to happen at the party or is it going to happen later?
I mean, I would think that it would happen later because you still need to collect the money from him.
Yeah, that's why I gave him that time limit. Because I also want...
So there will be some time in between the party and the confrontation, if that's...
Okay.
I specifically want Martin there.
Because my big thing was I want to make sure that we've got his money before before I do my thing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go in to the AKC club a few days later. Once we've got the money, once I know we've got the money, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to say, hey, you guys might want to talk to this Shelly Chang. I heard, I was here from, show them my ticket stuff. I'm like, I was here. I was kind of like hanging around, looking at the dogs and stuff. And I heard some real shady stuff about something that she was supposedly buying from somebody. You guys might want to go and talk to her and really lean on her and kind of really lean on her and find out what's going on. I don't think that Mr. Hartley should have anything to do with any dogs at all. Like this is he wanted to win so badly that I think they might have tried to do something with the dog and just screwed it up. I want to take away his AKC membership. I want to take away his dog. I want to take this whole side of his life that he enjoys, and I just want to just rip that away from him.
Oh, it's a good idea. It's a good thing you played into an idea I had already.
I'm not
All
even
right.
going to need to punch him at the end of this.
Oh no, you're still gonna, but you're gonna like you're gonna like what I'm gonna do.
All right, Richard, your difficulty is once again 11.
Okay, so I am kind of playing this off as basically revealing the scam that I perpetrated. So that would be grifter. I would say mental agility, trying to implicate him specifically, and not the trainer. Like the trainer was just, she didn't have a choice type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Like they offer her a chance to save herself by fingering him.
Yeah. And for this, I will be out of communication because I don't need any distractions or anything. So we've got the independent. Trying to think here as far as anything else.
I like to think when you do these things with independent, there's a scene where you just walk in and say, "Oh, by the way, earlier this afternoon."
Yeah, kind of like, "Oh, hey guys, by the way, when did you do that? You remember when you guys were talking and I wasn't responding? Yeah, that's it."
We should just come up with a code phrase for that.
Trying to think if there's anything else that I could add. I don't know. I don't think I would really need a disguise for this. Although I could.
Well, weren't you already disguised when you were at the track?
Yes, but that was to sell to her.
True,
I wouldn't be wearing the same.
Yeah, no reason why you can't wear a different disguise this time.
Yeah, true. So
especially if it gets you another die to roll.
That'll get me a couple more. So, all right. See what we've got here.
Jesus.
Well, I got a 16.
Excellent. So once again, a success with style. So, yeah, you convince them. They're like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And they take your report extremely seriously, and they assure you that they will be looking into it. And that is one more D6 for the mastermind.
That's 3 D6
so mastermind
on my tray.
Mm-hmm. It now comes down to you.
Okay, so I can reuse assets, right?
Yes, but tell me how you want to handle the confrontation.
That's what I'm debating on.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be a few days later. I don't know the location that we'd agree on. We'll do it at the track. Why not?
Okay.
But I think I'll dress down this time. I'll just be in a simple suit in a, the pleasure doing business with you kind of thing. So, let's see. Because this one, I'm agreeing with Martin. This is more of a personal thing. Because he offended both of us. He was a shitty landlord and a shitty realtor, so that offends me. But then, he also screwed with the dogs, so that's offending Martin. So I specifically want to have Martin close on hand here. So,
well, I mean, in the show, they not infrequently all show up to gloat.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying, I specifically want him, right next to me.
Okay.
So I'm going to use that infuriatingly superior. And yeah, I'm just going to go on, a diatribe of, you're a shit realtor, you're a shit landlord, and you're a shit better. All around, you are just the most trash person I have ever met. And I'm not even going to bother with our usual humiliation ganga. It's going to be straight to the point. I don't like you. I don't like anything about you. You are scum. We absolutely hate you. But then I'm specifically going to step aside and let Martin take a swing.
Martin, anything you want to add to that?
I'm just waiting for my swing.
I just stepped aside. Take your swing.
What's the roll? Is
I don't
there
think
a
we need
roll?
a roll? We're in the end game. This is part of the humiliation.
Yeah, if you want to punch him, just punch him.
I deck him.
See, it's while he's on the ground bleeding, that's when I'm going to have fun and start revealing the things. Because this is where I'm going to go, oh, hey, by the way, that bet we made, this is our side bet. Like, I'm going to indicate to me and Martin and Richard and Carlos, be like, this was our side bet. This was something we wanted to do amongst ourselves. But if you want the real action, you should go and check your business accounts and show them that we've been siphoning off all that shit and that the contractors were paid. And so, your buildings are finally going to get the attention they deserve. Your tenants are going to get paid because we're using this money to pay them all the insurance, the costs, all the premiums, everything that you've been scamming them for with interest. And then, let's see, past that, this is where I was saying, if I want to reuse a previous asset, but I want to use it in a new form. Because I want to have fun with that doctored footage.
Okay.
So, we do have the original, which may or may not show Martin giving something to the dog. But Martin's an unassuming hayseed, and probably has a similar build to our boy here. It wouldn't be that hard to make it look like he was the one doping the dog.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. So, basically that we've got proof. Yeah, the dog was tampered with, and you're the one that did it. You did it well before the race. So, this isn't coming back on us. Everything is going towards you. That's it. That's all I want to do.
All right. Well, he's going to be rolling some big dice.
It's like none of this might be legally standing, but it's certainly going to get you thrown out of a lot of places.
Oh, yeah. His Kennel Club membership is gone. Nobody's going to trust him enough to gamble with him anymore. His entire reputation as a realtor is gone.
Whoa.
Yep. You're going to be looking at a 13.
Okay.
And with the number of plot points you've got and the number of dice you've got to roll.
Let me see here. I already said I was going to use that.
Finish that sentence so as not to jinx you.
We've got the 3 D6s from my companions here. We've got the D6 from Infuriatingly Superior. If we're counting the footage as an asset still, that's another D6, correct?
Yes.
So that's another D6. So we're up to 5 D6. D10
and that's
for
before you add your mastermind.
Yep, D10 for mastermind. I am absolutely leaning into resting bitch face, so that's a D8. We're going to lean into agility.
And don't forget intelligence to go with mastermind.
Yep, so that's another D8. Agility, because he's going to start trying to whine and bumble his way through shit, and I'm not going to let it, so that's another D10.
Well, no, you should roll either intelligence or agility.
You're right. We'll drop the agility then. We'll do the intelligence. But do I have anything else that I can throw in here? I don't have to use chewing the scenery.
I don't think you really need to. And at this point, you got enough plot points, you could just start adding in all those extra dice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, even though this goes with my specialty, I don't need to roll anything else.
Unless they all turn up ones.
Yeah, well. So, let's see. Just to be sure. 3 plot or 3 D6 from them, 2 D6 from that, a D10, and 2 D8s. Let's roll it.
Well, your two highest are a 16.
So it automatically beats him. If you wanted to beat him with style, you could add in that 5 and then just with a plot point and just humiliate him.
Yeah, I think
you might as well, since your plot points don't carry over.
The ground, we're just gonna put as much as we can on there. So add the 5 in.
Excellent. And we ended right about on time. Got a name for this job?
Oh, let's see. What did I write down? I wanted to name it the Sunny Side Up job.
I was thinking all dogs go to heaven.
We keep them here on our watch, though.
I hope
Or you
someone
could-
was keeping
or we-
better notes than I was, because I don't have any notes for this.
Or going with another dog pun, every dog has his day.
I like that one.
Yeah, well, like I said, we normally name these with like the job. So it was like, we need something that goes between those.
Every dog. Yeah, the every dog has his day job.
They do have some that are named like that. But yeah. All right. Yay. I'm glad that I like the creativity that you displayed tonight with the when you were met with the well, this isn't actually illegal hurdle.
Yeah. Well,
It may not
I have a lot-
technically be illegal, but we can make it illegal.
Oh, we can absolutely make it illegal.
Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I would normally stick around for a few minutes and shoot the shit with y'all as we wind down from the end of the session. However, my mom called me like 2 minutes ago, and she is stuck in the carport, and I need to help bring her into the car or out of the car and into the house. So I'm going to bid you all a good evening, and I'll see you all next time.
All right. And I need to go too, actually.
Yeah.
So we ran a little later than usual tonight, but it was fun. I will.
Don't forget to give yourself a self-plug.
Yeah. I was going to say I will let Rasklin do the radio plug, and just want to note that I have a show on the same station on Sunday nights. But Rasklin, do your thing.
Saturday night, Over the Edge on Community Radio for East Central Illinois, 90.1 FM, WEFT Champaign. Streaming online at new.weft.org/listen at 10 p.m. Central.
And from 6 to 8 Central on Sundays, I do Celtic Music Go Bra Go Bra. From 7 to 8 Central p.m. Mondays, I do Radio Theater. And I'll see you folks in 2 weeks for the season finale of our Leverage run. Later, folks.
Later.
Night all.
Which I believe brings us to Olav.
I don't really have much of anything, so I'm just going to say goodnight.
Perfect.
Payback's a bitch, isn't it?
No, actually, it's fine, because I am going to announce that while Friday night is Pirates of the Geek Vortex, it is the second to last night, so I don't know what our topic is going to be. However, my announcement is that next week, while it is game night on Pirates of the Geek Vortex, I may or may not be there because I have jury duty starting that day, so I will let you all know. Past that, this week I will be keeping up with both Blueprints and Oblivion. I will see if I can't find another game. We've been talking about me grabbing whatever the fuck it is, Expedition 33. And I may or may not add that to my rotation. We'll see. Next Tuesday, we will not be here on YouTube. We will be doing Twitch. And we will be doing another round of D&D. So if Rasklin, you wish to join us for that, if you're able, you are more than welcome to.
I'll just have to figure out my schedule. But
And past that, I wish you all a good night, keep it chaotic, and adieu.